All right. Good. What is it? Slightly afternoon. To everyone. Thank you for coming. Today is the Sunday show of the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today we have the left sees Nazis everywhere. Canada wants to start a new world order with China. That kid, that person who's definitely always been a boy, fucks around and finds out with ICE. And then we'll see if we have time to check in with Lord Nuxanor. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started.
Oh, mean.
Oh, man.
Here's the funny thing. That never once would have been seen as any kind of racial supremacy until the left told you that being pro-America means you're only pro-white. And speaking of the left, Charlie Kirk was a Nazi. Everyone here is a Nazi, right? Now, so is the Department of Labor. Did
All
you
my
know that?
life.
Really? Apparently.
The Department of Labor is a Nazi. And
Wait, the who?
yeah, the Department of Labor.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you were going to say like White House or like
No, the
Pentagon
the
or something.
Department of
Department of Labor.
Yeah.
That's a real department that does something.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
this weekend they put this on X, and then I'll tell you why they're Nazis.
I will say this is kind of bleak and dark looking.
Yeah. So it emphasized 3 points: our land,
I mean, I'm gonna let him talk, but I see where they were going with this. But I would have done it differently.
our culture, our history. To be clear, then they put a caption on X: "One homeland, one people, one heritage. Remember who you are, American." Now, here's the funny thing: that never once would have been seen as any kind of racial supremacy.
No, of course
until
not.
the
It would
left
never
told
be.
you that being pro-America means you're only pro-white. They're the ones who are saying. Then the quiet part is that means that people who aren't white are less American. That's what they're saying. Then they followed up with this: the future belongs to the patriot. Embrace Americanism. I'm not seeing white nationalism.
What?
I'm not seeing Caucasianism.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing Nazism. That being said, the Department of Agriculture didn't help matters when they released this meme.
What the fuck? I'm waiting for it. I was waiting for him to fit someone
It's
else
kind of a
in.
banger. And I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine as to what's going on with the Department of Education. I think it's.
Oh, they're not posting anything anymore.
I think the department's guess is as good as yours.
Mission accomplished.
But here's the thing: you saw all this, and if you didn't see Hitler, Nazi, well, that's because, well, you probably are one, because that's all the left could see. It's like a Rorschach test for pussies.
The Department of Labor posted this video on X on Saturday with the words "one homeland, one people,
Get it
one
out.
heritage."
Look, when it comes to this right here, people keep saying, "Oh, people, I love how Republicans are against open carry." The difference is between Kyle Rittenhouse and all these other situations is one: if you see anybody with their hands on a weapon like this, that's not open carry. That's tactical. That is people waiting for a reason, basically. Whereas most people just have it strapped to themselves, strapped to their chest, usually with a sling. Also, the difference between Kyle Rittenhouse specifically and these people is he was protecting the town his father lived in, and I believe it was a friend of the family's business from crazed rioters breaking the law. And these people are waiting for cops to come and do their job. They aren't attacking citizens. The only time citizens are getting in any of this is when they do shit like this. That is not protecting your neighborhood. That is defecting against the government. That is all the things that you said the other side is, and more. But let's continue.
Remember who you are, American. It echoes the Nazi Germany kind of theme. After Hitler took power, one people, one realm, one leader.
Yeah.
It doesn't echo it.
But the difference is America has always been a melting pot. America, this is who we are. We aren't British. We aren't anything. Because you can't even... And has it been racist? Yes. At some point, the Irish got it, the Italians got it, black people got it, Asian people got it. And, I mean, illegal Hispanic people get it. And there's always people who are going to be racist against somebody, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. But as one people, we are all American. Everyone who is a citizen of the United States is an American. I don't care. Trust me, if we go to another country, it doesn't matter if you're any race. If you were born in America, especially if you're 1-2 generations in, they can spot you pretty easily.
At all. It's like if I said in a cave, hello, and it said goodbye.
Yeah.
It'd be like, they're both
Whoa.
greetings, I guess.
That's not an echo. That's someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe they can help me out of this cave.
Yeah. Probably not.
So, one people, one realm, one leader. This is from Grok, too. It also said that there was. And Grok is one of the few AI models that I will say sometimes just flat out lies. It said similar phrases appear in various contexts, from patriotic appeals to associations with white nationalist groups per sources.
Grok mostly says what people are saying. It doesn't say the truth. Not always. It is fun when it agrees with you, but that just means your side's winning at the moment.
Like threads and LinkedIn discussion.
Well, there we go.
It's also used in movie trailers.
Yeah.
One man, one mission, one movie to watch this
One
summer.
desire.
And then it could be John
Keanu
Cena
Reeves,
as Mandarin.
Morgan Freeman.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Don't mean to offend you.
he let the mogwais out and he apologizes.
Do you like my denim short?
Now we have a Grimrin.
You, no. Cannot see me. Invisible. Invisible.
Look, I took off my shirt. Nipple small, like you.
My nipple
I bet he
look like
got
a
the bigger
dog.
nipples. Like a pepperoni.
Chocolate milk dog.
Is there any other kind of a milk dog?
You must try vanilla.
Yes, you unknown to you have been watching commercial for a milk dog. Slow walk around.
Yeah. Big milk dud. Love it.
So there are plenty of other cultures who've also had similar slogans. Let me give you a few of them. Ancient Greece. One blood, one language, one religion, one way of life.
Up.
Oh, don't call me Greek.
Yeah, no, don't call me Greek. I'm not one of those guys who bemoans retiring at age 52. France, during the revolution, the nation, one and indivisible. Hey,
Well.
Guyana, one people, one nation, one destiny.
Yeah.
That was created after the independence in 1966. Think about that. Like, everywhere. They just want to apply it to the United States. They want to apply pride in your country here as something that's unique. And they want to paint it as white supremacy. That's what they do. That's what the left does. They say, no, it's not patriotism. It's white supremacy. No, it's not crime. It's not assault. It's protest. No, it's not violence. It's poverty.
Yeah.
No, it's not illiteracy. It's lack of funding. No, it's not fraud. It's daycare. That's what they want to do. They simply relabel things.
I know no
so
one's
that they
here. I
can
know no one's ever been here. I know
relabel
this
you.
building's dilapidated and pretty much just
By the
has a
way, really
painting
quick,
on the
just go back
inside,
to it, like,
just
if you're gonna
right inside
parse
the
out
window
the
that you can
statement
barely
from the
see.
Germans,
But
one
it's
people.
daycare.
That's fantastic. Okay, you've got a people, unless you're saying like, it's no Jews or something like that. But like you're Germans, right? Fine. One homeland. Well, yeah, you got borders. That's fantastic. I know in this day and age, it's not really a thing anymore. For most people, borders are weird. It's the last part. One Führer. One leader. He was cementing his power above everybody else. Not one leader at a time.
Yeah.
It was just one leader forever until I die and pass it off to the next henchman. Why don't you talk about that? Because Donald Trump's, or the message here from the Department of Labor, was nowhere close to that. It was just saying like, hey, we're all Americans, guys, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I can pretty much guarantee. Look, Donald Trump doesn't have long. He's in his 80s. He's not going to vie for power. Mostly because none of his kids have the means to hold said power. They just don't. They don't. They're goofy. It's not going to happen. If it does, I mean, you'll see me in the streets, not dissimilar, but it's not going to happen. It's not. I can guarantee right now, I'm calling it, they're not going to go past the election. There's going to be another election. It's going to be Vance or Rubio, and they'll probably win.
There's also a context that isn't even talked about there, is that the Nazi language came from World War One.
Right.
From that empire, all that land being separated and divvied up, and then them being hamstringed by the rest of the rest of Europe and Western culture. And they felt a little different. One people, one homeland. That's a whole different thing. They were talking about expanding their borders from what Germany was at the time in the 30s. It's a whole different theory.
Well, now
it makes no sense.
Now do.
Oh, it sounds similar.
Yeah, now do from the river to the sea.
Oh.
Now do that one.
Which river? Well,
see? Hey, what's in there? Oh. Looks a little bit like a genocide to me.
Yep.
And here's the thing. Let's break that down. Unless you're left, how could you see that as white supremacy? Our land, okay? Our land, the country.
No.
We have borders that define our land. And that matters because those borders define where our laws that are a reflection of our values, of our identity, are enforced. Well, that's a good thing.
And the only reason you could see it as Nazism is because people actually believe that people are being snatched up, who are American citizens, are being snatched up. It's not the case. And the only time it ever would be the case is if someone got naturalized as an American citizen through fraudulent means, i.e. Ilhan Omar.
Because I want to keep, for example, the values of the Ayatollah outside of it. Matter of fact, I want to keep the values of Canada outside of it. I don't want this. I mean, I don't know what their values are other than like try and be commie pussies as best you can. That's pretty much the values of Canada right now outside of Alberta. Yeah, I want that. Okay, you need to have that divider. Then our culture, let's break that down. The same culture that resulted in the freeing of slaves after a very, very bloody battle. The same culture that resulted in all men being created equal. The same culture that resulted in, Republicans pushing for the Civil Rights Act as opposed to Democrats. The same culture that resulted in freedom and prosperity that has never been seen before or since. The very Christian backbone, the moral backbone from which everything is derived in this country. What's wrong with that? Our history. Understanding said history, understanding that this is a republic where you are free if you can keep it, and preserving it in honor of the people who created said place. What is wrong? How does any of that read as white supremacy?
Our history also includes our mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how we've learned from our mistakes and how we've grown into what we are today. That's what people forget.
Yeah.
Our history, that includes slavery.
Right.
That includes unwarranted wars.
Mm-hmm.
That includes a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
We learned from it.
Yep.
We should be proud of that.
And when you see this, what the left is really just doing is they're just saying, no, that's bad. They only destroy. The left can't build anything. You understand that, right? And they have no plan as to how they'll replace what they destroy aside from the state, more institutions. And that's why I say tribalism is important, because even though there are many, many flawed and useless, feckless Republicans, the view is not replace everything,
many.
Replace the family, replace the community,
Right.
replace it all with the state, replace the church. No, it's a fundamentally different worldview. How is the left going to replace? All right, let's do away with our borders, our culture, our history. All that's bad. Replace it with what? We want to know how that ends? Look at Europe.
I don't want to.
Look at Europe.
I don't want
Anyone
to.
think that that the UK looks like England of old? You want that here in the States?
No.
Because you do have a choice to make. This idea that, all of us can coexist, no, especially not when you have societies and cultures that revile you, who hate everything that has made this country.
I do absolutely agree. Now, there has to be, I don't want total assimilation by any means, but we do need at least common goals and anything common, a language in common. Americans, we speak English. Should we learn other languages? 100%. Every American should learn at least one other language. I know when I was in the Army, some of my friends' kids were in school, and they made it to where they at least took 3 language classes before they graduated. I thought that was amazing. of course, most people should choose Spanish, and then the white people usually choose French, and and everyone else chooses fuck, I don't know. I just like to make fun of white women mostly.
What it is, or want to take advantage of it. These are not hard thought exercises. The left wants to destroy what makes America America. Okay, replace it with what? Does that look more like America or less like our history, our culture, our values? Which one do you want? It's that simple. Oh, you're still here.
I'm saying the whole Nazi fetish, the whole anti-American fetish is it's just kind of retarded, and it's played out. That being said, while they're calling more than half the country, honestly, because let's face it, if you don't pass the left's purity test these days, they not only call you a conservative, but they call you a Nazi and a fascist. Even someone who's pretty damn liberal like myself. That being said, let's move on to what's going on while this is happening. Canada.
A historic moment not seen for almost a decade.
So much red.
A Canadian Prime Minister alongside China's president in the Great Hall of the People.
Let's talk about Canada. I would like to see a fundamental shift in our mindset. And I mean, even with the administration. A lot of the times
thanks
when
for
we're
the
talking
likes.
about Venezuela,
I appreciate that.
when we're talking about Iran, it could be Russia, Ukraine, any conflict. People say, well, international law, and we kind of discussed that. They say, well, what if we lose our allies? Then things could be unstable and at risk. I want to let you guys know something. What controls the behavior of unstable actors in the world is only the United States. It's only the might of the United States, period. So what we do determines how the rest of the world acts. That's the real world. It's not NATO.
Pretty much.
Certainly isn't the UN. And so we should approach Canada with that mindset. Because when you understand reality, well, then it makes a decision really easy. As the world changes and people pick sides, do you want to be a part of the New World Order? Canadian Prime Minister's words, not mine. Or the America First Order, the American-led order. Just so you know, you've actually been living under the ladder. It is the United States. It is the United States. That is the only reason, Canada, that you are allowed to be. It's not NATO. It's not the UN. The only thing that fends anyone off and acts as a deterrent is the military and economic might of the United States. And there isn't even a
that's pretty much true.
second. People will say, oh, that's why people don't like you. Americans are arrogant. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
A lot of us are.
You're welcome. That's
Especially
my response.
especially the
You are
ones
welcome.
Especially the ones that don't like us. They're probably the most arrogant, I'm not going to lie.
And I know this all too well because I spent my formative years in Canada. I really hope that Alberta sees what's going on and they consider separating. We would love to have you as an ally. So Canada, their prime minister, yesterday, he was in China. By the way, he's been very cozy with China for a long time. And bootlicking would be putting it mildly.
That's lovely.
Right there in the middle of it all.
A historic moment not seen.
I'm not going to lie, seeing Canada kiss up to them kind of reminds me of this little scene.
To our new partner.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
For
Anyway,
almost
moving
a
on.
decade.
So much red.
A Canadian Prime Minister alongside China's president in the Great Hall of the People.
I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
Sounds like he really didn't want to say
It
it.
almost seemed like he didn't want to say it.
Yeah, right?
Like he was being forced.
Yeah, but he said it.
Oh.
By the way, I'm going to issue my 5-point plan or 5 points of demand from Canada and what we do with them. Because I want to offer solutions just like we did for housing, just like we did for healthcare, just like we did for voting. And I don't think this one is that difficult to solve. You just heard him. He has chosen to align himself with China instead of the United States. He then clarified the New World Order remarks to Bloomberg, and it's not great.
Yesterday, when you met with Premier Lee, one of the things you said in the public remarks was this partnership, Canada and China, this new partnership sets us up well for the new world order. What did you mean by that? What is the new world order?
Well, it's a great question, Brian, because I think the world is still determining what that order is going to be. And let's be clear what we're talking about first and foremost, which is what is going to govern global trade? What is the role of the WTO going to be? How important are bilateral deals such as the one we're developing? Use fancy word like the architecture, the multilateral system.
So fancy architecture
is being eroded, to use a polite term, undercut, use another term. So the question is, what gets built in that?
He loves his
Really likes
words.
to explain to you that he's going to use words.
It's true.
Yes.
I'm going to use a fancy
Just say what you mean. Don't alter it to be polite or fancy.
word. I'll use a polite term. I'll use a different term. We're familiar with terms.
Thank you.
I'm going to use this. Here's a word for you. Here's a term.
We don't
Here's your
need your
terminology.
retard schoolhouse rock, okay?
It's schoolhouse rocky. Yes.
Can somebody pie him so that I don't have to do it?
Those were the days.
Yeah, Canadian. Yes, just to give you an idea how unserious a country Canada is. Their prime ministers, not assassination attempts, successful pieings. I know what you're asking yourself. No, you don't just mean that. Yes, a pie in the face. And not thrown at distance. I mean up close, Bozo the Clown, and twist. And no one did a thing.
Is it a cream pie?
Twist?
Yeah.
They got to grind it into their face.
It really is humiliating when that happens. It's like, oh, this is bad. That's worse.
Don't take next.
Now, if you guys don't remember this, Carney, he has Carney in the name.
That's true.
Well, his name is Carney. It's not in the name. It is the name.
It's a proud family of carnival workers, and you are being disrespectful, sir.
Small hens.
Look, just
Smell
because
of
you couldn't
cabbage.
put the basketball through the baseball hoop.
Yeah, I mean, he had a very different tone just prior to the election. Here's the thing. I agree with some of the things he said there.
I think the biggest security threat to Canada is China. We're heartened by the leadership of President Xi Jinping
Wow, 9 months.
and the speed with which our relationship has progressed in recent months. And I believe the progress that we have
He's a
made
big fan
in
of
the
old
partnership
Star Trek, Kirk.
sets us up well for the new world order.
Yeah, and I'll just let you know the new deal is Canada will be allowing Chinese vehicles in, their electric vehicles. They're going to drop their tariffs. China will drop their tariffs on Canada. There's going to be cooperation on energy development, and China is going to allow visa-free travel. So he covered a lot of this in one of his conferences.
Prime Minister, less than a year ago, you said that China was the biggest security threat to Canada. Do you still believe that?
The security landscape continues to change.
Give us a term.
And in a world that's more dangerous and divided, we face many threats. That's the reality.
But does that threat from China still exist?
I'll refer to my previous answer.
I will refer you to terms and words and answers that have been spoken word.
If you'll notice earlier, I said architecture.
I did.
So
I don't want to be
that's a term.
I don't want
that's
to
a fancy
be
term.
too fancy, but jambalaya.
I defer to
I'm
my
so
friend, Mr.
fancy.
Vandelay.
You already know.
And also acronyms, NWO.
Yeah. So here's something else. Canada, as a country, I hope you're listening, Alberta, they don't view themselves as an ally of the United States. If you actually look at the recent polling, Canadians view China more favorably than the U.S.
Wow.
China is at a, do you have that number?
I
Is it
mean,
negative
1%.
49, meaning a net negative. The United States at a negative 50, which is funny for a place that allows people to wear burqas on their driver's license. May I present to you?
I mean, that is pretty funny. That is.
May I present them to you, Canada? Is it? Oh, because America. Is
Oh,
an
you mean those
evil
people that
empire?
Chinese people have in
All right. How does
concentration
China
camps? Is that what it
treat
is?
its dissidents. What do you think happens if you, as a Canadian, go to China and protest the government
China.
peacefully, compared to if you do so in the United States? Hey, tell me about the immigration laws in China. Tell me about the rights that immigrants have in China.
Tell me.
Tell me about the rights
Tell
of
me
the
now.
family in China. Tell me about human rights Tell me how progressive they are on gender equality, on LGBTQAIP. Tell me about all of it. You think the United States is worse? Look, your inferiority complex is showing. And Alberta, if you are different from the rest of the country, you better start moving quickly. Because as far as I'm concerned, Canada right now has presented themselves as a national security threat. That's not hyperbole. I mean that. You cannot align yourself.
I mean, it's kind of hyperbole.
With one of the most evil countries in the world, and certainly historically responsible for more death, carried out by their methods of evil throughout history. And today, our greatest adversary, and claim that you're our best friend. Canada has never acted as America's best friend. So here's what we need to do with Canada, to be clear. Here's my 5-point plan, I believe, for Canada. And then, by the way, that will then determine what needs to happen after. So here's what we do. Canada, these are our demands. 5. Number 1, close your border immediately at your own cost. Right away. No drugs flow into our country. You promised you would. You start tomorrow. I want to see construction workers building your border tomorrow.
I agree with that.
Full reviews available to us upon request. Number 2, you cut all of your deals that you were just planning to make with China. Okay? Matter of fact, cut all your deals with China until further review from us. Number 3, you stop allowing China to do this transshipping to the United States through Canada, right? We say you can't do this. They ship it to Canada, then it comes through the border. We want to be able to monitor that. You stop that immediately. Number 4, you drop any and all trade barriers or tariffs with the United States. You first, you drop all of them. Number 5, you meet your NATO obligation today. Not 2032, not 2037, right? Oh, I know you have other costs. Maybe you'll have to slash your socialized health care.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to have to slash some of your social services to meet the contract you signed. 2%.
And for me, that's one of the biggest ones. People always talk about how other countries are better than us with healthcare and this and all that, this and that and the other. That's because we pay for their defense. We've literally paid 90% of NATO since its inception until President Trump. I'm saying. You can say what you want about most of Trump's stuff. That one is pretty based.
Percent of your GDP on military spending. Now, not you plan for it, you start paying 2% now. Now, until you do these things, the United States will, number 1, take in no Canadian oil. We will refine none of it whatsoever. Number 2, we will ramp up tariffs to the point that they will be crippling. And I know what you're thinking. You can just throw yourself in the arms of China. No, that's number 3. We're going to block all of the China trade routes. That's 85% of your trade with China has to go through or around Alaska. That wouldn't be hard for us to do. And by the way, China's not going to wage a war for you guys. They're going to show up, see our ships, and head right back. We can strangle your country. And we should, because you've aligned with the enemy, and you're right there in our own backyard with a border that is unprotected. Far more land covered with that border, by the way, than Mexico. You want me to repeat it really quickly, just so everyone understands? Again, I mean every word that I say. Number 1, close your border, Canada. These are our demands. You cut off your deals with China. You stop allowing China to transship through you. You don't play that game. You drop your barriers. You drop your tariffs.
We don't play games.
States. You meet your NATO obligation immediately, not a few years from now. Until then, we will refine nothing. We will take in none of your oil. We will ramp up tariffs, and we will block your new buddy in China from getting anything to you.
I mean, it does go right past
Alberta,
Alaska.
If you don't like these terms, you should separate. Don't have to be a part of the United States. You just have to make sure you're not a part of Canada.
And they should build that border too.
Happy to trade with you and make a new friend. And let's actually be friends. You guys let me know what you think about that. I mean, every single word. I would like to see it start tomorrow. We can't allow this in our own backyard. This is the only alternative to Venezuela-ing Canada with Carney, and I don't think he likes that either. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching
Carney's
this on YouTube?
small hand smell of cabbage. Sorry, this caught my eye. I want to see it.
You make jokes about people in prison in El Salvador. I mean, these things they speak to the heart of Americans and what we see people are going through. It's not a political standpoint.
He posted this.
You know, we try to see the humanity in people, and it doesn't seem like people on the right.
I've really come to like Scott Jennings. I don't like a lot of Republicans.
This is what people voted for.
But he seems okay.
We knew very well who Trump was during the first term, where he had the family separation policy, where he was putting children in cages. People voted for that again and again. I'm done pretending that there are people out there who will see this and be outraged by it. The polling numbers just show that's not true. People will say they don't like it, but they showed up to the voting booth and voted for him again and again. Of the nearly 70,000 people in ICE custody right now, less than, I believe, 10%.
That's too many. We should let them go outside of the country.
I mean, the data shows time and again that this is an unfair, inhumane policy.
It's
and
not.
So no, Abby, I don't think this is going to make a difference.
Scott,
Respond to what?
what she just said.
Look, I'm not going to respond to ad hominem attacks on 70 million Americans who decided to vote Republican in the November 2024 election. I don't think it's right. You come out here, you call people liars, you call anybody who votes Republican, you say they don't have a moral compass. I didn't say anybody
who votes Republican.
You
I
did.
said the people who voted for Donald Trump.
Okay,
They
he's a
cannot be
Republican,
surprised.
and he won in November with Republicans who voted for him. So don't back away from
I'm
your
not backing away. I
Mm,
don't
she's
think they have
backing
a
away.
moral compass.
And she's making a
I
beep sound as she
worry
does.
about me backing away from
I
that
don't
point.
feel
I
like I
say
have to
they don't have
respond
a
to
moral
these attacks. In
compass.
fact, I think you ought to ask her if she really believes 70 million people lack a moral compass.
I believe people who saw what Trump did and voted for him lack a moral compass.
She's kind of the worst. Several words come to mind, mostly the one that starts with the C. Oh, that's fun. Hold on. Let's
people. So there's two things to keep in mind here. First of all, there's accountability.
This is Timu Obama.
Corruption and the chaos that Donald Trump has unleashed on the American people.
He hasn't unleashed corruption. He's countered said corruption.
From the very beginning of his presidency on January 20th, that should be tied directly to the Supreme Court and the 6 right-wing justices who basically gave Donald Trump, without justification, blanket immunity. And he's been out of control ever since. So that's problem number one.
They didn't give him blanket immunity. They gave him what was already afforded to the
different
president.
Corrupt sycophants within the Trump administration, including but not limited to within the Department of Justice. Now, these people don't have immunity. And the reality is the statute of limitations is 5 years, and there will be accountability with the next administration, if not before, when Democrats take back control of the House of Representatives. So
we'll
there's
see
two
about
things to
that
keep in
happens.
mind here. First of all, there's accountability for the corruption.
Oh, that's where it cut off. And this is what Krasenstein's saying. Krasenstein said, isn't that what Trump's doing? Trump's going after people who broke the law to go after him. He went after that bitch in New York who changed his misdemeanors that she pulled out of her ass, changed those into felonies out of freaking nowhere. On top of a few other people who also went after him and used illegal means to do it. He's only going after them through legal means, and he's either been stopped, even though some of the means have been legal, and some of the things that he's tried to do that weren't legal, he's been stopped. That's what the government's supposed to do. The 3 branches are supposed to hold each other accountable. That's why you aren't supposed to give the president more power than he was afforded by the Constitution. But every president keeps doing that. We did it with the Patriot Act. We expanded it with the Patriot Act again and some other things during the Obama years. Then we expanded a little more when Trump got in office. And we keep doing all these things, hoping to God the other party will never be in power to use the things that we put in place when our guy was in office, when the other guy's in office. Because you're all fucking retarded, Democrats and Republicans alike, all of you. Every single person who is a partisan hack who does not take accountability for the things that their people do. There's a lot more of you on the left right now. But anyway, continuing.
Yes, I will be blind for life.
And no one wants that, but we don't want you assaulting officers. It's sad, but I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on. There. Really? Do we need to explain? Do we need to explain this?
Yeah, I think we all understand.
Come on! Ice. Stein. Try to push him down some ice.
Speaking of which,
Ice to
Gerald's
seal.
shirt real quick.
Yeah? I didn't see it.
He's wearing the Ice Baby shirt.
Oh, I like it.
I like it a lot.
So I made that joke, and he made that joke too. I feel less special, and I don't like having things in common with Gerald.
And give him admonish.
You don't need to do that. That's not necessary.
They wouldn't have shot him if he had just stopped when they asked him to, and then collaborated and listened.
Yeah, okay. Severely admonished. I thought it was a fun shirt. I'm old enough to know who Vanilla Ice
I don't
is,
like
though,
agreeing
so
with
I
Gerald on
understand.
things.
I bet you were a big fan.
Yeah, I bet you
I
were.
want to hear it from the chat. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I bet you when he hears dung, dung, dung,
Gerald,
dung,
you
dung,
suck.
dung, dung, he's like, oh, I hope it's not you too.
I see a lot of gay emojis.
Oh, I don't feel like I'm going to get a fair trial here.
He hears dun, 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 dun. He's like, this better not be under pressure.
It better not be under
I
pressure.
hate Queen.
Every time.
Wasn't it? I thought it was you two and no, it's Queen and Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen and Bowie. Yeah. Who, by the way, do we still have that side by side of Bowie yesterday? The Labyrinth? Could that be pulled?
Pull it up.
Dude, spot on.
You know way too much about
Gerald
David
has
Bowie.
horrible judgment noodles.
I don't.
He prefers Vanilla Ice to my catalog. There it is.
Oh my God!
Uncanny.
Except for the eyebrows, it's
Far
uncanny.
less gay.
You've become so gay, Gerald. Turn straight before it's too late.
That's actually not a bad Bowie.
Your shirt, Gerald.
Well, good for you.
It's actually
I
not a
saw his
bad.
nipples looking hard as nips could look.
This makes you look weird.
That is pretty good,
I
actually.
think
No,
it looks
that's
cool.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
don't
pretty
think so.
good.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
Why is it featuring the admonished shirt?
You remind me of the gay.
We like that shirt better.
You know what? Fine,
good one.
Whatever.
All right.
Do what makes you feel good.
I was still scared of that junk metal.
I would only buy that shirt if I ever thought I could
scared
actually
me.
meet
More than
Crowder.
Very weird.
Because
I
you
would
now
buy the
took
shirt and
the
I
other
would
world
wear
and
it.
brought it into the real world where you're like, oh, they could live in my
if
closet.
Gerald was going to be there.
Screws with your head.
Plus, she looked like a feminist.
And even at a young age, you hated that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you don't need a man, do you? You're like, right? Yes, I do.
And I say that as someone who doesn't like wearing the shirt that the shirt of the people he's going to see. While he's there, I don't like doing that. I don't like if I'm seeing a band, I don't like wearing the band shirt to the concert. It's just not a thing I do.
You're wrong about everything. Now, this is Friday. Okay, so ice.
Get it out of your system.
Baby.
Look, what are these people? Ask yourself something right now when we're seeing these protests with ICE, these riots, these violent agitators. Why? Why are these people doing it? What do they hope to gain? So let's go through that. Okay, what do they hope to gain? The end game is what? No deportation.
Real quick.
I guess.
Damn it. Okay, real quick. Dearest Trump supporters, the media is asking, how would you feel if this was your child who got hit in the eye during an ICE protest? It depends. If they were just standing there, I would be irritated, but at the same time, I would have told my kid not to be there. And if they had done what this little fucker did, I definitely wouldn't. I'd just be like, you ever seen A Christmas Story? You'll get your eye put out. You'll shoot your eye out. This is a lot of the FO after the FAs happened. And I feel bad for this person. They've been indoctrinated. It's not entirely their fault. A lot of it lies with their parents. A lot of it lies with the indoctrination. A lot of it lies with just us all being retarded, especially since COVID. It's sad that it happens. I wish it hadn't. I wish this person had made better choices. But, that's what happens when you fuck around, unfortunately.
Disagree with that. Then, even if you agree with what they think they stand to gain, are the consequences worth it? Are you willing to be pepper sprayed? Are you willing to be blinded? Are you willing to be shot? Are you willing to have a permanent criminal record for, in Minneapolis, a group of people who've defrauded you and stolen money from your children, as we've seen with Somalians in Minnesota?
Real quick, Denims, to answer your question, yes, Asmongold is out of touch, mostly with a vacuum. But the people who are really out of touch are the people who only have a following because they have like a baby face, they have big titties, and they like to show them to their fans, and their fans who want to see more of said titties and face and ass will say anything that you want to get those things to happen. They'll throw money at you. They'll throw likes and all and views and everything your way. That makes you the disconnected one because you've never heard anything negative in your life. And if you did, all your little simpy simps will come after you because they're motherfucking SIMPs. Anyway.
It's really hard for me to see a logical case for this. It really is. And I'm typically able to put myself in someone else's
basically what Asmongold said. It's another
sizes,
privileged white girl that lives in a gated community, totally isolated.
Unless it's you just hate this country.
You don't have any level of understanding of this. It's all because you're rich. That's not untrue. That's not untrue. I mean, it's a pretty base statement. I've disagreed with Asmon on a lot of stuff, and he's pretty based here. I'm not going to lie.
Venezuela. And I think that's asinine. That's my opinion. I'll make the case for it. Well, here's one person who actually, I guess, didn't take the time to ask those questions, and this is how it ended up for him, his prize.
Well, can you tell us about your injuries now and the prognosis? Will you be blind in that eye for life?
From what I've heard the doctors say and everyone else, yes, I will be blind for life.
And no one wants
in the one eye.
But we don't want you assaulting officers.
My lower lid was.
I mean, you've made a lot of choices that have left you altered for the rest of your life. Don't act like this is the first one. I know that's harsh, but I mean it's true.
Cut up, and they had to take skin from my temple to fix it. There's a lot to it. I don't remember all the things that they said. I have.
I'm actually thinking about posting this maybe tomorrow morning. I might actually post it after this. Kyle Kalinske has a very skewed view of what happened between him and Michael Knowles. He basically went on there, would not let Michael Knowles talk, and every time Michael Knowles spoke, Kyle Kalinske was proven to be a dipshit retard. Not unlike when Just Pearly Things tried to talk to Anna Kasparian. That's what I was watching right before this, and it was I don't like Just Pearly Things. Pearl is awful. She's a retard, she's a grifter, and she looks like Hugh Grant had a sex change and somehow became 26 or however old she is.
They can't fix, and I can't sneeze or cough because it's dangerous too. I remember also when I shot, there was pepper in it, and I had pepper down my throat, made it hard to breathe for a long time.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Plastic the size of a nickel out of my eye. They said I had shards of metal, glass, and plastic all throughout my eye and behind my eye and in my skull. And they also said that I had a piece of shrapnel metal about a few millimeters away.
Oh my God, I just noticed that. That's horrible.
I survived because if it got any closer, if it hit that, I would have died that night.
Totally blind right now.
Overturn. That's so fucked up.
Poor taste?
Funny, but yeah.
Yes. Oh, I don't think so. But here's just some context. People say, oh, it's just they're just going out assaulting people. Again, I repeat, if the case existed of people simply going about their business, not impeding the officers, getting the crap kicked out of them, getting pepper sprayed, you would know it. There has not been an example of that yet. There have been judgment calls. There have been gray area.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through Twitter. Look at this. 1 kilogram of beef feeds 2 people. Okay. Oh, I see what they're saying. I was going to be like 16 kilograms feeds 20 people. Okay. Okay, I feel like a retard now. I was like, I didn't see this arrow here because I'm like paying attention to two things because I am autistic. Let's go.
But what you have been told is taking place, especially when they have people like these who they trot out as heroes. You always, and I mean this, 100% of the time, find out that it's not the bill of goods that you were sold.
Yeah.
Here is what happened, and here's what happens when you disobey lawful orders, especially in the middle of a melee, and charge officers who are currently having their eardrums pierced by blaring bullhorns from your friends.
And here's our buddy. Like I said, he didn't actually hit anyone, not like this fucking guy. And then this is kind of funny. Oh my God.
Glasses. Can't see without his eyeball.
Oh, Thomas J. Okay, that's kind of
How
funny.
did we miss the My Girl thing? I have an open $20 bill to anyone who can fit in the My Girl reference.
Do it.
I deserve it. I know about this. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Billy, you are absolutely going to burn in fire for.
Well, I knew the kid looked familiar too.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God. I mean, kind of.
That's pepper spray, young man.
That's pepper spray, young man.
Why don't we throw you in the oubliette?
Oh,
yeah.
It's sad, but I mean, you know, come on, guys. Like, come on. There, really? Do we need to explain? Do we need to explain this?
Yeah, I think we all understand.
Come on! You don't have the right to blare bullhorns, and you don't. People will make it. You're in the middle of. The guy has a helmet on. He just sees someone running in with an object in his hands. At that point, you can't hear.
This is
he didn't
amazing.
Follow up with it was clearly one shot.
Ricky Gervais.
Correct. Again, he wasn't aiming for the eye.
Welcome to
He was
London. Don't
stuffing
forget your
the
stab
thread.
vest.
Don't do these things.
It's
And
amazing.
I assure you that you will be perfectly safe. You will be perfectly safe if
Yes.
officers are carrying out their duties and you don't get involved.
Yeah.
You could have called him a Nazi from 20 feet away.
Yeah.
You could have.
He would have heard you.
He would have heard you.
You wouldn't even need the bullhorn.
You wouldn't.
Quite frankly, you could have done it loudly.
But here's why these people do it. Again, sticks and stones might break my bones. No, but words inspire people to incredible violence and to completely illogical acts. That's why we saw Charlie Kirk killed. People believed the words that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi.
I just want to say to this Rose Smith person, yes, if that's a real offer and you want to offer me $4 million to get off of Facebook, I just followed you if that's a real offer. If it's not, then damn.
See, I met people who actually believed that Charlie Kirk wanted to imprison black people and rob them of the right to vote. People believed that. And if you believe that, you are going to act within that reality. And a lot of these people in this city believe their mayor, who has been inciting far more violence, many more times than peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard and fight like hell.
Show me a single place where I have encouraged anything other than peace. Show me a single place where we have encouraged violence.
Your wish is my command, you
But what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight.
The same police officers that you condemned, what was it, 5 years ago now? Almost 6 years ago, I want to say. And the same police officers who threw one person under the bus to hide the fact that he was just doing as he was told. Not saying who.
Fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors.
Look at that.
Meanwhile, we have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with border control, are creating chaos. There's no doubt in my mind that you love your town. Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear.
Now do the country.
I thought he was going to say Somalians. Gosh, that was a real twist.
Yeah. Yeah. Somalis, by the way. I misspoke earlier, too. It's really, but you know what? It's not a significant people who matter
Not
all
sure
that
that I
much.
care.
So, no, I don't. And what do you mean by that? Do you mean to say that we're better than Somalis? Yes.
100%.
This is the same guy, by the way, who you can't just say it's one isolated incident. By the way, that police chief, hey, you guys voted for it. You guys voted for it, and you guys distanced yourself. Said, hey, just so you know, we're not ICE. You think they're not coming for you? You think you guys are off the hook? And I get it. This guy doesn't want to. We had this discussion. Right?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't want to lose his job, his pension. But you know what he could have done? He could have come right afterwards and said, and by the way, everyone, I understand tensions are high, but I just want to make very clear, of course, the police officer, the Minneapolis police, we will not be fighting federal officers. I just want to make that clear. Let's try and bring temperatures down.
Yeah.
If
100%.
he said that and he was fired, there would be a GoFundMe for him.
Yes. Yeah.
People do need to start standing up. I know there's a risk. There is a way to make the calculated risk while standing for what you believe in. But here's the thing. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just surprised that that was said at that conference. But I tell you what, if you're going to do this, that means you probably are convicted. You feel convicted. You should do quite a bit more than that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
100%. Like that guy, we have to have the mentality of, listen, it's going to cost me something to do the right thing. This guy puts his life on the line in the job that he has right now anyway.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that foreign to him. So I understand that it's not a small thing, but so many people have sacrificed far more than a paycheck to make sure that we could have a country that we all can be proud of and be free from tyranny around the world. It's not something that just stays that way without renewing that sacrifice when situations like this arise. And all we're saying is stand up for your brothers in blue. Do you think that the mayor is doing a good job of de-escalating? Or do you think that ICE should be able to just come in and take
He's
out
not
criminals from
de-escalating.
your
He's
city?
escalating.
You should be on the same team with ICE.
Also, if this mayor wanted to have his police department fight ICE, well, you don't have enough of them because he did all that stuff, right? Defund the police. Fight ICE with your social workers.
Put them on the front lines.
Keep in mind, this is the same mayor who said all of these things. It's not an isolated incident.
What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement.
Yes,
and
it is.
one thing that I can tell you for
Literally the
certain
same
is
thing
that
Obama
we
did.
aren't backing down. We don't retreat.
That's why it's not
in
normal.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We don't back down in Minnesota. They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
Just ask Baby Boss here.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell
Or
everybody
the Star Trek lady
That
on the
does
right.
look like Boss Baby.
that is bullshit. And I have a message for ICE. To ICE,
Comes a
get
language.
the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Oh.
We do not want you here.
He's so tough.
Real talk.
With his fancy
The guy from
crimped hair.
GTA 5 behind him like that.
Yeah. Also, think about what he's saying there. We do not want you here. Well, the country elected Donald Trump. The country supported deportations. So if you were saying, we have decided, first off, I assume that you speak on behalf of all your people. There's some type of metrics there that you can provide. You are saying, we have decided that we are going to carry out an insurrection. That's what you are saying. That's what you were saying when you are going against the will of the American people. And yep, I understand. People would use the term federalist. I believe in states' rights. Yep, absolutely. We have federal elections for a reason, and one of the primary reasons is national security, our national interests, which of course would include the border under its legitimate purview, which of course would include national citizenship under its legitimate purview. Don't entertain these conversations. The left is trying to do this now, and also those who've sort of managed to infiltrate the right. Oh, where's your small government? Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. That's enough. We're not doing this. We're not anarchists. We're conservatives. We understand the role of federal government very well. We know that you don't because you believe internet is a human right. By the way, if you are not a member of Rumble Premium, well, I guess everyone right now is Rumble Premium, aren't they?
Never
Get rid of
mind.
that.
We've already gotten rid of the others.
Yeah.
We love them, but they're just not. They're not you guys.
I mean, let me ask you guys this: Where do you think this ends with Minneapolis? How do you think this? Do you think it just fizzles out? Do you think there's a crescendo?
I think they got to make a deal with the federal government. I think that the state. I guess the city too. I'm not sure. Is it a sanctuary state as well?
Yes, it is.
I think that local government in Minnesota needs to come to some kind of agreement or deal with the DHS.
Yeah.
And go, hey, what if we just let you in our jails?
Right.
Yeah, they haven't tried any of it. So I think you try something. You try some kind of bargain. You really want them out of your city, then get them out of your city by helping them out and letting them go.
I actually would
on their way.
Yeah. I'll make the argument here. I don't think that Minnesota right now is a part of the United States. What do I mean? How many genders are there? Officially 2. They're a sanctuary state for transitioning youth and hiding them from their parents. That goes against federal law. They're a sanctuary state for housing illegal aliens and preventing federal officers from enforcing. They won't allow federal enforcers into the prisons to take violent offenders who have no business being here.
Yeah.
They are flagrantly disregarding national law on a multitude of levels.
Not flagrantly.
Insurrection Act.
Yeah.
Trump administration, if anyone is watching right now, it doesn't mean martial law, it doesn't mean taking over the state. It is specifically for a place like Minnesota that has decided they are not going to align themselves with America. They are going to oppose it. It is an enemy within right now.
Yes. And this cancer has been allowed to grow for far too long. I'm sorry, that's exactly what it is. You have to step up right now. Otherwise, other sanctuary cities and states will see this and go, all we have to do is make this hard enough on them in the media, get enough public opinion turning against them because of out-of-context clips or sob stories about a guy who rushed an officer and now might be blind in his eye. All we have to do is that, and they'll relent.
Meanwhile,
right now, there is no quarter.
A short
right
decade
now,
ago,
you get in line.
They were promoting ICE.
Or we're coming in. And every other sanctuary city and state out there, the exact same goes for you. It just is a matter of time. We'll put you on a list, and we're going
Gerald, stop
from
talking.
number 1 to number 2 to number 3. Maybe you ought to make a deal before we do that. The deal is very simple. Let us come in and help you deal with the problem. We're not coming in to take over, like you said. It's not martial law. We're not running your city and state. We're just coming in to do the job that the American people elected President Trump and his administration to do. Yeah, want to get on board?
Oh, we're doing an interview
If not,
now?
we got solutions.
Yeah, take a page out of my favorite president's book.
So teas, you can actually use paper teas instead of like using the tea bags. There are teas that actually dissolve completely. So that's one of my favorite things. Thank you so much.
I love how Morgan J. Freeman put "make racists afraid again." You know how you fight racism and hate with more racism and hate. The Black Panther Party, come on, man. Come on, man. They don't even stand for what they did back during Malcolm X's days, man.
Barack Obama. And deport illegal immigrants.
Yes. And you know what? Just you can also justify it by, very much like Barack Obama saying, now this is something that every single Republican and Democrat administration has done for the last 4 decades. Hey, do you like what you saw? I don't know how, because it's on YouTube and we have to cut all the good parts out. So you should tune in live weekdays at 11.
Let's hold on real quick. Let me I should have been looking for this while I was doing other things. I apologize. Kyle. Okay, so we've got a bunch of retards. So we got Knowles saying he destroys Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski saying he bodies Knowles repeatedly in Brutal's Pierce interview. Hassan, of course, says the same thing because he's a retard. You've never seen a debate like this. Okay. Man. There's an awful lot. Adam Mockler's kind of a cunt. I'm not going to lie. So we'll watch the first little bit of this one.
And you don't care. There's a lot going on. You know, I decided to have a week off after Christmas. Big mistake. Never have a week off in the Trump administration. It seemed like all hell was breaking loose. And yet, if you park the rhetoric, which can be very incendiary on all sides, and you cut to the presumed ideology of what Trump is trying to do here, I do see the argument. I may not agree with all of it, but I see the logic of what he's trying to do and why he thinks it's in America's interest. And that applies to whether it's Venezuela and getting rid of Maduro, or whether it's the Iran situation and so on. Do you see the logic, even if you don't agree with it all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no. I mean, Piers, it's as you said, you know, Donald Trump can say America first means whatever I say it means, but if America first meant one thing to everybody who's ever uttered the phrase, and then he wants to change that to mean America first means regime changes all around the world, huge, enormous, unthinkable bloated defense budgets like he just requested from Congress. And if he's going to think that none of his supporters are going to have a problem with that, or that they're all just going to change their views because he decided to change his, I think he's going to find out how well that works for him in the midterms this year. And I think it's going to be a disaster. And, you know, obviously it's true, Pierce, as you said, and we all know Donald Trump will say all types of crazy things and then never follow through with that. But he also just asked Congress for a $1.5 trillion defense budget. And that, to me, does indicate that he is anticipating a real deal war coming up, or at least the possibility of it. And if he means the things that he says, I mean, I don't exactly know how you do that. I don't know how you say we run Venezuela and we'll dictate who the next regime is and we'll dictate where the oil goes without at least an effort of like 100,000 troops. I'm not even sure that would be enough to do it. So it's unclear what exactly the next move is going to be, and that's really when we'll find out what he's going to do. But no, Pierce, the idea that we're 38 or maybe 39 by the end of the show trillion dollars in debt right now. We have major problems in this country, and we have a hot war raging on in Europe, which is a proxy war between the entire West and the biggest nuclear armed power in the history of the world. The idea that we would go flirting with multiple wars of
Okay, two things. One, yes, we have a hot war with, I'm assuming he's talking about Russia, even though no, it's literally just Ukraine with us throwing aid and money at them. And the rest of Europe finally just set in. And before that, all of Europe was buying oil from Putin because the pipeline in America was shut down by Biden, and the pipeline in Europe that goes from, I think it's Moscow or somewhere in Russia to Germany, I want to say. And they pay for it. They pay Russia. So everything that Russia's doing right now is because Europe has been paying them for their oil for the last several years. I don't understand why people don't see this shit when they're talking about this shit. But yes, taking out Venezuela and also Iran, two of the people who send a lot of their oil to Russia since Europe finally cut them off. I'd say that's a good way to stop them in their fucking tracks, but maybe that's just me.
Choice at this point, it's not left wing or right wing, it's just reckless. There's no wisdom in it.
Is there not?
Knowles, I guess the argument.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I just threw some wisdom into it. Dave Smith, comedian, podcaster, fuckwit.
Is that many people who voted for Trump bought into the concept that what America first was take care of what's happening in your own backyard and stop meddling in foreign affairs. And now they're waking up almost on a daily basis to seeing Donald Trump proudly and aggressively talking.
This is America first.
In all sorts of foreign affairs. Is there a contradiction or hypocrisy or even a betrayal of voters going on here?
Not at all. First of all, Venezuela is in our own backyard, and it's been the policy of the United States in 1803 to manage the Western Hemisphere. So that that's a cornerstone of American foreign policy.
It's also the Northwestern Hemisphere. It's in both the North and the West Hemisphere, like
America
us.
First in the way that he prefers, and I think there are plenty of people who wish to do that. But Dave, though a very popular podcaster, never won a presidential election, and Trump has been clear on what he means by America First, the political movement that he built, that people voted for in his coalition since the beginning. President Trump campaigned the first time around on destroying ISIS, so obviously that does not mean that America's only going to look inward. President Trump has carried out attacks, military operations that were extremely successful in Iran, in Syria, in Afghanistan, obviously in Venezuela. He's been talking about taking Greenland and even invading America's evil top hat, Canada, though I think he's mostly joking about that one, since the beginning. So that's what that means. And what it comes down to is that America is a global empire. We just are. People can be upset about that, but unless your geopolitics comes strictly from Reddit, if your geopolitics actually comes from history, you recognize that we've been an empire since the Louisiana Purchase, okay? And we've been a muscular global empire since the Second World War. So President Trump's vision, I think, actually rejects two extremes. It rejects a conservative isolationism, and it rejects a liberal internationalism, and it posits a conservative imperialism that says that we are going to recognize our role in the world.
I don't know if I would have said imperialism, but
in limited ways, with America's interest at heart. So there's been no regime change in Venezuela. We're talking about regime change in Venezuela. The regime is still in place. What we did was depose the leader. We left the vice president in place, and we said, act in a way that is appropriate in accordance with the law and our interests, or we're going to kill you. That's very different than a Bushy-era neocon regime change in Iraq. Even when we're talking about Iran, the Trump administration has not gone in a particularly overt way yet. But even there, we would be talking about a restoration of the Pahlavi regime, most likely, that goes back to 1925. So I grant there are all sorts of risks to interventions, but we're the global empire, and frankly, even the American Revolution comes out of wars of global empire. It comes out of the 7 Years' War, which itself was a derivation of the War of Austrian Succession. To pretend that we don't have a role in geopolitics is to ignore all of American history.
Okay, Carl Kalinske, I can see you grimacing through a lot of what Michael was saying there.
That's all he does.
Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela, and he threatens Colombia and Mexico.
I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Noel said there, but I'm sure it'll be more profound than whatever Carl's about to say.
I mean, the point I was making to Dave, if I want to elaborate on where I sit with this, because I've had a bit of time to look at this play out, is you look at Maduro. Everyone thought, my God, this is going to be World War III. Actually, Maduro's going to end up in a New York courtroom, and he's been got rid of. Everyone seems to agree that's a good thing for not just the Venezuelan people, but the world. No American troops died in what was an incredibly efficient surgical military strike to get him out of there. And if you have a more compliant leader of Venezuela, albeit part of the same regime, that can probably only be a good thing. If you look at the argument about Greenland, for example, I've been struck by some of the people that I didn't expect to think this was a good idea. A British general last week talking about this, saying that from a strategic security point of view, it would make perfect sense for America to have Greenland. And is there a deal to be done? He didn't think invading it was the right thing, and nor do I. But is there a deal to be done with 60,000 people who live in Greenland that could actually improve the security of the United States and the West against
That's
the
a hell of a setup, Pierce. Stop talking so the guy can answer.
And, so and I can get through the others. Iran, getting rid of the Ayatollah and the mullahs is unquestionably a good thing for the world. It's how you do these things and whether you plan and prepare properly for what follows next that I think are the debatable points. And history says that's normally, unfortunately, been very badly done. But this is what I meant when I said to Dave that I understand the argument. I may not agree with all of it, but I do understand the logic to what Trump is doing here. Do you?
No, because we don't have a right to act like this around the world. We're supposed to be a nation among nations, not a nation above nations. And they used to at least lie to us in the past and say that this is good for the world and we're spreading freedom and democracy. Now they don't even bother to lie. Now it's naked, rank, disgusting imperialism where they say, we're going to take the oil, and the point is that we're going to take the oil. We're going to take the minerals. We're going to take the precious metals.
That's not what they said.
We're doing this for our corporations. We're doing it for the Epstein class, the billionaires.
That's not what they said.
To piggyback on what Dave Smith said,
is frankly not what many of the MAGA voters thought they were signing up for. They thought America First actually meant America First. By the way, you also replaced the Maduro regime with the Maduro regime. Congratulations on that. It's also been now a week straight of pro-regime protests. Now you have roving gangs of Venezuelan militias that are kidnapping Americans. But again, I come back to the
Michael
fundamental
Knowles
point,
looks like a
which
Muppet.
is, if you sign on to stuff like this, you're saying might makes right and the law of the jungle is back. What you're saying is China has a right to go into whatever smaller country they want and depose the leader and say we're doing it because we can and we have the right to do it and we have bigger guns and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So they're never going to address that fundamental question, which is why do we have a right? Do we actually believe in international law, or was that all a joke? Are we rolling the clock back to the 1700s and the 1800s, and we're going super primitive style here? And I think the answer to that is yes, they want to go super primitive style.
Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. You know what I want to
Oh,
prioritize
crap.
this
Is this on Michael
No,
Knowles'
my
channel?
sleep. That's so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/Knowles.
International law goes.
Don't do that.
It's not some creation of modernity.
Go to Helix Sleep, but not for Michael Knowles. Go to someone who
The
deserves your money.
Conventions, the Nuremberg Tribunal, excuse me, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal.
Yes, those
piggybacking off of
exist,
World
but
War II.
international laws, the jus gentium goes back to antiquity. However,
And the
unfortunately,
League
a lot
of
of our
Nations
liberal
was
friends think
useless,
history
so that's why
began
we had the
a few
UN.
decades ago.
The UN
The
is
League of Nations
useless.
was useless. It fell apart, and that's why we had the UN. That's
The
why
UN
we
is
had
useless and it's falling apart.
Because we looked
not
at
merely a
piles
century
of
ago. But
millions
it's true.
of
Woodrow
dead
Wilson
bodies,
failed
and
with
we
the
said
League of
that's a bad idea. We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said that's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. Let's actually have a framework and rules.
Are you going to let the guy talk? This is what Kalinsky does. He talks over you. He'll insist that you let him talk his whole piece, and then he'll talk over you the whole time you're talking, so no one can even hear it. They'll just, it's like Sam Cedar. All he wants is his clips.
He bombed fishing boats from Venezuela, Trinidad, and Tobago, and Colombia. He just did the regime change.
Those
in
weren't
Venezuela.
fishing boats.
He bombed Yemen and
He bombed
Somalia
drug
and
boats,
Nigeria
that's
and
true.
Iran.
He bombed
He's threatening
narco-terrorists.
Greenland and Panama and
Some are happy
Canada
with
and
that.
Cuba and Mexico. And you sit there the whole time and act like it's okay. Is there anything Trump
It's
can do,
okay.
Michael Knowles,
It's
that
good.
you would say, I condemn it, and you hop off the Trump train, or are you going to tickle his taint for the rest of your fucking life?
No, there have been plenty of Trump policies that I've criticized because he's only right about 99.78% of the time. So the First Step Act I thought
Such
was a
a cuck.
misstep. But I would say the
Such a
rest.
cuck.
Excuse me. I would say the rest of the.
See, and that's personal attacks. If you have to resort to personal attacks, you have no argument. Kyle Kalinsky he's like Milo Yiannopoulos for the left. That's all he is. The ridiculous bleach blonde hair, the glasses, and the little. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Kyle Kalinsky.
The administration has been very successful. What's your problem? What's
My
your
problem is that
criticism?
you're a cuck and you're a hack and you're not an independent thinker and you're meat riding Trump.
Why do you
and
say
you
that?
know that what he's doing in
I just
imperialism
answered your
and you don't
question.
care.
I just
Yeah,
answered your question. And I
99.78%.
corrected
Congratulations. You rented your
misstatements that
brain
you
to
made.
a war criminal pedophile rapist. I hope you're happy.
A war criminal pedophile rapist? Do you brought
Did
up
I
a
stutter?
point? You brought up international law, and you made a very false point, a dumb point, which is that international law began only a few hundred years ago. I corrected you, and I pointed out that the international
No,
law
you
is
didn't.
part of the Western tradition. That goes,
I mean, he
excuse me one
did.
second. It goes back to antiquity. It's a principle of the jus gentium. And then you said, well, international law has failed because of the League of Nations failure, which I think is actually undermining your argument and proving my point and proving Trump's point, because the liberal internationalism that was established by people like Woodrow Wilson did in fact fail, which is why we need to restore an older and more classical conception of the international order, which is precisely what Trump's doing. So I think you've hoisted
Might make
yourself with
right.
your own petard.
Might
and then
make
you
right.
just make
Law
a
of the
lot
jungle
of
might make
vulgar
right.
sort of non sequiturs because you don't have a leg to stand on.
All right, let me bring in.
Let me ask you this
hang
question.
on,
Hold
hang
on,
on,
Piers.
hang-
Let me ask him a question real quick. Tell me the name of the Minister of Defense in Venezuela.
I don't know. Whatever his name
Well,
is.
and that's the
Garcia
problem, is
or
that you're
Rodriguez or
advocating for a
something.
regime change. You don't know the first thing.
I didn't. I
about
just
the
said the
country.
opposite.
You're
I
advocating
argued
for the
against a
regime
regime
change.
change.
He
Kyle,
actually
you have
said
to
the
get the cotton
opposite.
out of your
I
ears.
heard Michael
Kyle, I just
Knowles-
want to correct.
See, and that's what happens when you talk over somebody while they're talking, while they're answering your question. Just because you don't like the answer or because something in their answer sets you off, it doesn't make you right. It makes you a blithering idiot like Kyle Kalinsky is, who just talks over people as they're talking. And then he doesn't hear anything that they say, and he makes arguments. He argues against arguments that they didn't make.
I heard Michael
said I'm
Knowles
arguing for
say
a regime
the
change. I
regime
disagree.
remains there, right? So he said the opposite, in fact. I want to bring in Coleman.
No, but he wanted to take out Maduro. Don't give me that cutesy little
Yes,
BS.
but he
That's
made
not
the
a regime.
point that the
You're in favor of
regime
US
is still.
intervention.
He made the point the regime is still there, and the vice president appears to be much more compliant with running Venezuela the way America would prefer for its national security than Maduro. So that's what Michael said. He didn't advocate regime change. So, Michael, let me ask you this, because this point resonated with me this week, which I thought was a powerful one. If America looks like it's just ignoring international law, if it thinks it can just go into Venezuela, kidnap the president, put him in a courtroom in New York, act with impunity, take Greenland if it wants, etc., etc., what is to stop America's enemies using the exact same argument to do what the hell they like? For example, Vladimir Putin must be sitting there going, well, hang on, every argument about why I invaded Ukraine, that's just gone up in smoke, hasn't it? I mean, it's the same argument. I wanted to do it. It's in my national security interest. You've got the President Xi probably looking at it going, well, why can't I take Taiwan then? If the Americans can take Greenland because it's in their national security interest, then I want Taiwan. And how difficult does it then become for the West and America leading the West to take any high moral ground or to stop it happening in any way if they've already trampled on international law themselves?
I think that first of all, I disagree with the premise, but second of all, I think my ideological friends on this panel seem to be quite mistaken about a basic premise here, which is they seem to believe that the United Nations or something is what keeps our enemies from running roughshod over the world, American interests and other people.
No, they're actually using
true.
it to run roughshod over the world.
We do. The might of the United States is what stops us. Now,
and I agree with that so far. I'm sure he'll give me a reason not to in a second, but yeah, the United States has been paying a majority, hold on. What percentage of the UN defense budget has America been paying up until President Trump's presidency? Okay, I can't get anything on a quick answer. Yeah. All I can see is the U.S. pays a majority of it. We pay most of it. So yes, that it has been the United States primarily. And let's be honest, and almost entirely.
Now, the reason I disagree with your fundamental premise is I don't think that we violated international law in the removal of Maduro. First of all, the Monroe Doctrine, now the Donroe Doctrine, has been the cornerstone of American foreign policy, basically since the beginning. But two, there was a legal predicate for the removal of Maduro that goes back to a court order in 2020, and this has really gone back about 25 years now. Let us not forget it was the Biden-Harris administration and Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, who called for the arrest of Maduro and actually offered $25 million to anyone who could advance it. So the only difference between the Republican action here and what the Democrats called for just 1 year ago is that Trump was actually able to do it, and he saved $25 million doing
why
it. So
okay, but by that logic,
that Trump got Biden's policy done.
Well, by that logic, Michael, why should President Xi not be able to go into Taiwan and take the leader and put him in a Chinese courtroom? By that logic.
Can I address that, Piers?
He's got no answer, Piers.
I'm happy to answer.
Well, let Michael answer.
We can stop interrupting before. Yes. So the only reason that Xi has not gone into Taiwan so far is because the United States has told Xi not to. From the point of international law, there is also another confusion because international law is a real thing. Many of my fellow conservatives want to pretend that there is no such thing as international law and that might merely makes right, but that's not true. Law is an ordinance of reason, so we can actually know something about it, and it objectively exists even though it's not material. However, what passes for international law these days, specifically over the last 100 or so years, is a bunch of liberal gobbledygook nonsense, which even my friend here, Kyle Kalinske, points out doesn't work, which is why the League of Nations failed and the UN has largely failed. So there is such a thing as natural law, but it is effected through political powers. And right now, the only thing stopping Xi from going into Taiwan, the only thing that has stopped Vladimir Putin from running roughshod over Ukraine is not some abstract concept in the clouds. It's the might of the United States empire and our allies around the world. And that is what
I hate that he keeps calling us an empire.
Carl, I will bring you in now, but I don't think that it has stopped Putin running roughshod over Ukraine. He just invaded it.
He hasn't taken the country yet.
Well, he invaded it, took as much as he could.
Well, he did that
have put up a much bigger fight than
during Biden's days, primarily.
I don't think Putin's intentions have been remotely thwarted only thing
Well,
America's
he only
done.
invaded because of Biden. So, frankly, had Trump stayed, I don't think he would have even invaded. But it's true. He did get he was able to run some roughshod over it during Joe Biden. But there was no floating international law. Let's not forget he invaded before the supposedly awful attack on Venezuela.
But he has. I mean,
or
look.
this
Yeah,
talk
but the
about
thing is,
installing
Michael,
Colombia.
Putin has continued to act with total impunity in Ukraine, regardless of anything Donald Trump has said publicly, either
Precisely.
in a friendly or unfriendly manner. He doesn't seem to care. I think if Putin could take the whole of Ukraine tomorrow, he'd take it. I think that's always been his ambition.
That's my point, I guess. That's my point. I don't think that America's very successful strike on Venezuela is going to do one thing. Now, it will not change one iota of Putin's calculation.
No, but that's my point. My point to you is that when it comes to Taiwan, I'm not sure that American power is the limiting factor for the calculations by people who run countries like Russia and China that you seem to think it is. Because I think Xi would have looked at Ukraine and thought, well, what's America actually done to stop Putin
Piers,
taking as much
do you
as he
think that
can?
international law is going to limit Chairman Xi?
Well, no, I don't actually.
I don't. I think
the
him
concept
and
of
a bunch of other
international
countries who
being
don't
twisted
have our
and torn
best
apart
interests
so
at heart are
badly.
taking over the
But
UN.
I'm actually
Somalia
uncertain
is
what
over
it
the
really means anymore.
UN Defense
Because
Council,
people
I'm pretty
don't seem
sure.
to- I mean, if you look at what Israel's done in Gaza, I would say they've trampled over international law with utter impunity, and they don't care. And
Reasonable minds can differ, but I agree that's a good point on the
No, they can't.
murkiness of international law.
Yeah, okay, Kyle.
Well, Kyle, you're not a
I
reasonable
find this
mind.
whole conversation preposterous because the idea that we're the moral arbiter of anything is honestly laughable. Trump is himself a criminal. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He's covering for a
They weren't best
billionaire
friends.
pedophile cabal as we speak. We armed and funded a genocide in Gaza. We also armed and funded a genocide committed by Saudi Arabia in Yemen. If there's any country
There was no
on Earth
genocide in Gaza.
where there's some semblance of a sound argument to do regime change, it's our regime being changed. So I don't want to open the door to this might makes right, law of the jungle nonsense. And everybody else except Dave, seemingly on the panel, is in favor of that. And I
But
don't wanna live in
America,
that world. There's gonna come a
Kyle,
time
America
where
has
we're
a
not the most
mechanism.
powerful
Kyle,
country.
hang on. America has a mechanism for regime change. It's called the election every 4 years. And the truth is, Americans had a good, long, hard look at.
You're making
Trump.
my point.
Well, no, I'm not.
This is my point.
I'm not. I'm
Yes,
saying,
you are.
I'm saying you live in a free democratic society with free democratic elections. That's why Trump won in 2016. That's why he lost in 2020, whatever he wants people to think. And that's why he won
Piers.
again in 2024. That is regime change, how it should happen.
We back 73% of the world's dictatorships. The idea that we say, here's the dictator we don't like, we're going to overthrow them, is ridiculous. By any objective standard, Netanyahu is worse than Maduro, and we're not overthrowing him.
No,
so the whole
he
conversation is
wasn't.
absurd. We're in no position to be the world police or the moral arbiters. In fact, Trump himself literally says, this is about the oil. It's about the natural resources. It's about stealing that for the corporations and the billionaires. So the whole conversation about
Well, I think it
other
could be.
high-minded
I actually
ideals
think
is useless.
okay. Look, I think Venezuela can be about a number of things at the same time. That's why I think nuance is an important factor in these things. It can
No,
be
but
part.
that's the
Well,
cover
hang on,
story.
hang on,
By the way,
Kyle.
can it just be pointed out?
It could be
that- by
about
the way,
oil.
hold
It
on.
could be about
Kyle-
oil. It could be about Maduro being a gangster.
It's his
It
show,
could be
Dave. Shut the
about
fuck up.
Pierce,
A number of things.
This was
Trump's a
sold
gangster.
to us.
Trump's a
All right,
gangster.
All right. This was. Isn't it funny that we have this whole conversation, and while you're saying it could be about all these things, you know what? No one's bringing up drugs. And that's what it was sold to us as.
Right.
Just like all these other wars, they just lie through their teeth. Has nothing to do with the drug problem, or
It's
a
in
tiny
part about
fraction
drugs.
of it, and nothing to do with the fentanyl problem, which is the real crisis. It's a total pretext for war. And you know, I got to say, man. By the way, I kind of agree with Michael on the concept of international law. But the thing about it is that this is totally illegal by our own law, by the Constitution of the United States of America, which every politician puts their hand on a Bible and swears before all of us to God that they will do everything in their power to defend and execute. There was no imminent attack here. Donald Trump had all the
except
time in the world
for
to go to Congress and get permission
that little
for this. And they just
weirdo
didn't
in New
want
York
to, you know.
City.
And if you want to just say, like, by the way, Mike, it's funny because you point out I'm a libertarian or Kyle's a leftist. Ironically, we're the only ones taking the conservative position here on this. We are not an empire.
is that so?
Actually, the supreme. Yes, that's actually right. There's a long tradition. Do you know your history on this, Michael?
There's a
'Cause you
long
don't-
tradition of
Well, hold on, let me
libertarians
finish
telling
my-
conservatives what we believe. And I'm
there's
sick of it for one.
No. There's a long tradition of the best conservatives having the exact same foreign policy I do, and then a bunch of former communists who were atheists convinced you guys that it was right-wing to support wars everywhere. By the way, the Monroe
They
Doctrine
convinced Thomas
isn't even,
Jefferson in 1801. I don't know about that.
No. I'm not talking about the Barbary Wars. Okay, anyway.
Or the Monroe administration, or the Roosevelt administration.
Do you even know what the Monroe Doctrine is? You say the Monroe Doctrine means that we get to run our hemisphere? No, it doesn't.
No,
the Monroe Doctrine.
We keep our
Michael, let me
adversaries
finish a
out of
thought, and then you can respond to it. No, that's not actually true. It meant that Europe couldn't have any more colonies here, and in turn, we wouldn't interfere in Europe. By the way, it's not a law. It's something a president said once in a speech, and it hasn't been the cornerstone of our foreign. It hasn't been. We haven't. Have we not interfered in Europe? Have we not interfered in Europe for over 200 years? Is that what you're telling me, Michael?
We were begged to.
World empire.
That's
true.
Right, exactly. So we abandoned the Monroe Doctrine. We never followed it at all. And the Monroe Doctrine never said, they said that Europe couldn't establish more colonies. They already had several. That they couldn't establish more colonies. It didn't say that if there's a country that does a mineral deal with a country somewhere else because we won't allow our companies to do it with them, that therefore we can topple the leader. This is completely illegal by our own Constitution.
I'm happy to explain this. It's true. In 1823.
I hate when people call you by a full name that you don't go by to try to be condescending to you.
Did not yet exist. We have expanded the notion that European powers, which were a threat to us, should not interfere in the Western Hemisphere to those other adversaries as well, who you recognize are adversaries. It seems to me where the big difference here on the panel is that you, Dave, at least will acknowledge that America has interests and there are bad regimes. You're making some crazy claims that the Constitution doesn't allow the United States to be commander-in-chief of the army. You're making a crazy claim that Congress.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it doesn't allow them to declare a war.
You're making a crazy claim that it was. Excuse me. You're making a crazy claim that it was somehow illegal to follow a court order from 2020 to.
He didn't declare a war. There are presidential powers that allows you to do this for a limited time. Because, like in the case that we're being attacked or put upon by another country, the president has the right to take a few steps to deter them from doing so, and then Congress declares whether or not we actually declared a war.
Maduro and arrest him. Anyway, you're making all sorts of crazy.
Is that
claims,
how we do foreign policy? By
hold on one
order?
second, guys. Yes. 1 second. I'm happy to. The difference here is, Dave, you at least acknowledge America has interests, and you're saying because we sometimes make mistakes. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get my point out. Because we sometimes make mistakes, you're saying that we should not pursue those interests, or you're saying that the consequences could be worse. The point that Kyle is making is actually different from yours. Kyle's point is that America has interests, and we should oppose those interests because he thinks that America is the great Satanist.
I loved that clip. Okay,
and that is what he believes. I'll probably, as a matter of fact, let's take a step back here. The Vanguard, those two guys, but yeah, Hassan's a retard. That's a retard.
Is there anything Trump can do, Michael Knowles, that you would say, I condemn it, and you hop off the Trump train, or are you going to tickle his taint for the rest of your life?
Kyle Kulinski went no holds barred during a debate
the fuck is that?
Michael Knowles on the issue of Donald Trump's foreign policy. Knowles took the position of defending pretty much every single thing Donald Trump has done, including his decision to oust Nicolas Maduro. And
okay, first of all, he was in the middle of explaining the policies that he didn't agree with when Kyle Kulinski jumped off and started talking about taint tickling and cuckery.
His effort to seize
purchase, okay? And we've been a muscular global empire since the Second World War. So President Trump's vision, I think, actually rejects two extremes. It rejects a...
okay, I got to find a better clip of... All right, tell you what, I'll find a better clip and I'll come back, or I might just watch the whole thing through on another time because it is fascinating to me. But let's check in with the mighty Lord Nux.
Insane deep dive I have prepared for everybody today. I did way too much research, but unfortunately someone had to. So another person was killed by an ICE agent in self-defense, and there are even more riots, even more protests, and everyone's losing their mind. So there's information
And everyone's losing their
about the original
minds.
ICE agent that was hit by the car. Obviously, we have so much
Oh,
more.
yeah,
over
internal
there.
bleeding,
We have another
allegedly.
instance of an ICE agent killing somebody in self-defense, and we have rioters breaking into ICE agents' cars, stealing their documents, and now doxing ICE agents with the documents they stole from the cars. We have a lot that we need to talk about, but first and foremost, this is the clip that started all of this. This is a militant lesbian in this car. I want to show you what happened, and I want to give you the full story. So, as you can see, this is the car. It reverses so that this ICE agent is in front of the car. The new shooting was in the leg, not a killing, my bad. The wheels turn to face this ICE agent who is not holding his gun at the time. It drives, and look at his legs. He gets slid back from the car hitting him, and he fires the gun and kills the lady. Now, a lot of people are calling ICE agents stormtroopers. That is sad because obviously stormtroopers have bad aim, whereas ICE agents clearly have very good aim.
Yeah, I was about to say.
This is another angle. This is an ICE agent right over here doing his job. By the way, to be clear, this is really important to note. She was blocking traffic, obstructing justice.
Yeah, people are saying that she was just on her way home.
They had to move. She had to move.
Or she was
literally
waving
violating the
traffic
law in every
around,
possible way.
helping him
Told her
out.
to move, she refused, and then she turned her car and rammed into this guy. While her wife was screaming, "Drive, baby, drive." So this is
Not her
him
wife.
standing here. As you
Not her
can see,
wife.
he is directly hit by
Child
the car.
abuser that she lived
He
with.
fires his shots. All right. Now, important to note, a lot of people are saying she was scared, she was fleeing, it wasn't done intentionally. However, for anyone that actually knows anything about humanity, when you could see the people smiling, you know that that's not the case. You know that that's obviously not the case if you see these people smiling. So first, we have to cover the Democrats' response to everything. This was an actual footage of her. She was smiling. She was not panicking. She was not fleeing. You grow up watching movies on TV about killing Nazis. You finally get the chance to do it. The ICE Nazi ends up shooting you, and he turns out to be more progressive of you because he has a brown wife. Comedy gold. Yeah, hilarious. Actual suicide by cop. Now, I have to show you the response that everyone immediately just started with.
Oh, they were saying that
This
she
is
was a
from
legal
representatives of
observer.
Congress and Ilhan Omar and all these retards. All right, ICE murdered an American citizen and legal observer. ICE murdered a legal observer. ICE killed a legal observer. ICE kills and shoots a legal observer.
Legal
The
observers,
ICE
those
reportedly shot
what
a
are they? The
legal
green
observer.
vest
They all
at the
were
Antifa
the
things.
Same talking points. ICE murders a legal observer. This obviously isn't murder. That's one. Two, obviously, this wasn't murder. This was self-defense, obviously. They all use the same talking points. The NPC chip clicked into the brain. There was no threat. Hassan Piker decides...
And do I think he should have shot? Maybe not so much. However, he was ironically on ice, and he couldn't just jump out of the way.
to jump in. Nothing more insane than seeing American right-wingers on this website demand the government kill ICE protesters. No one is saying
Yeah,
this.
no, literally no
That's
one is
Hassan.
saying
He's
that.
a liar. He's a liar and a terrorist supporter and a potential dog rapist. Only to turn around and say free Iran.
Everyone knows that dog
because in
had it
Iran
coming.
they're massacring tens of thousands of people on the streets. So anyway, what do you mean free Iran? You're demanding American regime kill your countrymen. No one wants
No one's saying that.
regime to kill our countrymen. We just don't want the countrymen to hit the ICE agents with cars. Yeah, the solution to not dying is not trying to kill ICE agents, actually. It's bad that Iran is killing thousands of innocent people. Okay, wow, MAGA. Wow, MAGA. Unbelievable. So anyway.
Yeah, I love how people are saying that America and MAGA is worse than the Ayatollah, when the Ayatollah literally just killed 12,000 people.
Anyway, that's Hassan, immediately labeling this as just ICE agents just murdering protesters in the streets. A lot of people are doing this, by the way. My politics are anyone who mildly inconveniences law enforcement should be indiscriminately gunned down in the streets by unidentified mass government agents. I am rational, empathetic, and a well-adjusted person. Everyone is doing this. Everyone decides to drop down. It's a mild inconvenience, all right? This law enforcement was mildly inconvenienced because...
And then the funny thing is, Hassan Piker clearly can't see the sarcasm that the Yak Man was putting down right here and lashes out at him.
Leftists, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, and if you're a leftist, I'm so sorry. Leftists hate reality. I don't know if you're aware. All right? Leftists hate reality so much, they think men can get pregnant.
Science and evidence, and I'm asking you, the United States Supreme Court just...
Okay, I'm skipping past that. Nux, I love you, but you spent way too much time on this.
So this is not a mild inconvenience. This isn't right-wingers supporting ICE agents gunning down protesters in the streets. This isn't a legal observer getting murdered.
No.
All right, these people are all pushing their bullshit. All right, Jimmy Kimmel does the same thing.
I know what they're doing. They're trying out a new slogan. Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
They're all doing this because they actually support leftist violence, and they do it on multiple levels. A, they support leftists literally kill you. They'll label you Nazis to justify killing you, and then when they do try to kill you, they will do their absolute...
And here's an example Metatron reacted to. In California, they are so against all kinds of things that they took down U-turn signs. No U-turn signs.
Were on hand today to help remove the signs. They say the no cruising and no U-turn signs were put up in the 1990s to prevent people in the gay community from meeting up with other gay people.
I was also surprised that these U-turn signs were still up. And at first, they seem a little, oh, okay, it's just a no U-turn sign. But when you learn the history of it...
Yeah, it's a fucking U-turn sign.
Absolute best to straight up lie about the situation to make it seem like they're the actual victim. It's actually unbelievable. And it's pretty insane watching how this converges literally with radical Islamism. That's the craziest part, by the way. The absolute craziest part is the fact that we keep doing this. All right, Islam starts a war. Islam loses the war. Islam cries that they're actually the victim. But they were mostly peaceful. They were mostly peaceful. What are you talking about? All right, and Jimmy Kimmel, the guy who all but celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination, now thinks Donald Trump is going to kill you if you protest against ICE. It's actually unbelievable. Now, anyway, the family of Renee Good, this lady who was committed suicide by cop by smashing her car into an officer, hired a lawyer who represented George Floyd's family. Wow.
Imagine.
Wow. She took the George Floyd lawyer. Wow. It's almost like this is literally just a whole political shit. No one actually gives a shit about this lady, obviously. I mean, this lady didn't give a shit about this lady. In fact, it's become such an obvious hoax that here you have Muslims calling to pray around the memorial of this lady.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar,
Okay.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, absolute insanity. Literally, this is all part of the gigantic grift. The gigantic grift of the radical left and radical Islam coming together to hate America, hate Western civilization. They will lie. They'll memorialize this bitch who is a bitch, okay, who lost custody of her children for being such a bitch, all right? And this is America, where you have these guys getting here, showing up, doing their call to prayer for the beautiful, wonderful, beautiful lady that committed suicide by cop by trying to murder an ICE agent and got killed in self-defense. But that's what the left does. Now, unfortunately for the left, and this is the worst news they've ever gotten, because while on the one hand they do support the mass murder of ICE agents, however, not this one specifically. Breaking, the ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good on January 7th in Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident, according to 2 U.S. officials briefed on this medical condition. So this guy that was hit by a car actually was injured. Asmongold replied with, wow, it's almost as if the thing that obviously happened because it was recorded from multiple angles and analyzed by the whole world on a frame-by-frame basis actually happened. Amazing. Looking forward to seeing the next goalpost shift. Because this is literally how it all happened. First they said she didn't hit him, then she didn't want to hit him, then she only bumped him. Then the mayor said, oh, it's like closing a refrigerator door on your leg. That's how slight the damage was. Then they all said nothing happened, and now it happened. He's injured. He was almost killed. And what are you going to do? Now, in fact, this post from Asmongold was such a W, it was retweeted by Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance retweeted the Asmongold tweet. This is unbelievable. The convergence of reality is so here. We have never been so back, ladies and gentlemen. We have never been winning this much. Unbelievable. JD, Just Dance Vance, 48, actually retweeted Asmongold. Crazy world. So anyway, obviously, all of our favorite retards were freaking out about it. So this is Hassan Piker tweeting madly that JD Vance retweeted him. Twitter admin, we used to be a proud nation. X-Tinction level indicator. JD Vance retweeting Asmongold. Hassan Piker retweets this. So I think that's pretty awesome. Hassan, unlike a generational crash out that this is happening, that's just pretty incredible. Honestly, it is.
I think Hassan Piker's just mad he's on the downturn.
Anyway,
as he should be.
All the retards, it's pretty incredible how the goalpost shifted. All right, so It started off with everyone saying she was a legal observer and she was murdered. All right. Then it moved on to she was a minor inconvenience. Okay. Then it moved on to she bumped him like a refrigerator door closing on your leg. All right. So the goalposts keep shifting. Now we're at internal bleeding. So how are they going to shift these goalposts? Are you ready? Are you ready? What likely happened was the recoil injury from firing a gun caused the internal bleeding. Breaking, it turns out the internal bleeding was hemorrhoids. No evidence of this. So, Ed Crass Fagotstein over here, leftist retard with like 1 million followers, is just dropping misinformation that the internal bleeding might have been hemorrhoids and recoil from the gun. Like, the goalpost shifting is honestly incredible. Like, it's nothing short of actually amazing.
I have to say, handguns don't have that kind of recoil. They have a little bit, but not enough to give you internal bleeding. He's thinking shotguns. Maybe, not even a rifle, really. But internal bleeding in the exact area where he was bumped by the car. And I say bumped, he was not creamed or obliterated. He was bumped. But then again, he was on ice and he couldn't move. He couldn't brace himself as most people would normally on land by jumping the fuck out of the way.
Amazing. So this is also another great response. So breaking, the ICE agent was suffered internal bleeding because, you know, he was hit by a fucking car. So this guy, leftist on Twitter, says he didn't even say ow in the video. That's right, because he didn't have a mangina, okay? Because he was fucking in a life and death situation. But he didn't say ow, so this is obviously fake news. The left
Evan Loves to Wharf is just a troll. He's a loser troll.
Who run with
I like this. Men don't say ow, we call people fucking bitches. That's true.
Didn't say ow.
That's what I
Great
say.
Detective work, Evan. You're truly doing a fantastic
Male or
job.
female,
He
I
didn't
say
even
fucking bitch.
Ow. Sure, he had internal bleeding, but he didn't say ow, so it doesn't count. Exactly. I'm really glad we're on the same page. To be fair, and again, this might sound, not so polite, but Renee Good didn't say ow in the video either, okay? All right?
Fuck.
She also didn't say ow while she committed suicide by
technically
cop.
true.
So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty insane. She also didn't say ow, just in case you're paying attention. Now, anyway, while all this is going on, ICE agents literally getting hit by cars and attacked and harassed.
Is that the guy from Fantasy
Shovels,
Island?
We're going to see later in the video. Indian Representative Sri Thanada. This guy, last time he was in the news, he was trying to impeach Trump. He is now trying to push legislation to abolish ICE. Literally to abolish immigration officials, which is completely insane. Complete and utterly insanity. We're importing retards like Shri to tell us how we need to stop with immigration police. Oh my God, go back.
Shri Palpatine.
And we must, finally, reform ICE, but it looks at this stage, folks, ICE is beyond reform. ICE is totally out of control.
They're literally deporting people.
And this week,
that's their job.
I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE. We need to make ICE go away. 2003, before 2003, without ICE, various federal agencies were able to take care of business, and we can do this without ICE. But we do not need the murderers. We do not need this paramilitary organizations, members on
that's what all
So this guy, also known as
police
Anthropomorphic
forces are.
Coup, has decided to release a gigantic statement that he wants to abolish ICE with bad lip sync and terrible English. So we imported this retard to show up here and decide to tell us how he needs to abolish our actual organizations. Now, a lot of you don't know this, but Donald Trump actually won the last election, and he won largely on the mandate of deporting illegals. So we literally want, this guy is anti-democracy, and there's no other way to say it. He is actually just anti-democracy. It's actually insane that we need to deal with this. So this retard goes through this whole thing, and for those of you that are unaware, this dude also murdered 117 dogs. A lot of you don't know that part of the lore, but this guy is a generational dog killer. There is a surprising level of overlap between people that abuse dogs and people that are against ICE. A lot of people don't know this, but anyways, that's this guy. Now, he's not the only one that's been crashing out.
I mean, I have heard that.
Here's another retard, Ilhan Omar. All right, Ilhan Omar is doing the same thing. Another foreigner, it's crazy that this keeps happening, another foreigner that we're importing into America to dictate to us how America needs to operate.
And so today, I am glad to announce that the Congressional Progressive Caucus has adopted an official position to hold ICE accountable. Our caucus members will oppose all funding for immigration enforcement.
How is this even American? How is it American to hold back payments for immigration police. Like, literally. Yeah, the melting plot's really working. Except these people are not actually loyal to the United States at all. They're coming into the United States and using our liberties to get into power because we imported infinite Somalis to vote for her. And now she literally votes to abolish American institutions to import more retards to keep controlling us even more. It's really obvious this keeps happening. This brotherfucker.
Any appropriation bills until meaningful reforms are enacted to end militarized policing practices.
Yeah, we have to end police, actually. Actually, it would be better for America if we just end police.
It's funny she's putting this out, and they were literally going to militarize the military to fight said military police force.
We're pro-domestic terrorists, actually. So this is mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry. He does the same shit.
Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear.
Isn't this incredible? First of all, the agents that are sent into these towns do hold the values that we hold dear. You know why? Because the majority of America voted for Donald Trump. So they hold the values of the American people. They do not hold the values of the Somali illegals, though. So he is saying that our town should be judged based on the value system of the Somali illegals, not the American people, the Somalis, because that's what our community actually is.
Imagine if your daily routines were...
Hold on.
I started blowing my whistle in my car, and I got out of my car with my whistle, and I started blowing my whistle, and then they started macing us, and I didn't do anything but blow my whistle, and the officer punched me in the face, knocked off my glasses, and I was still whistling, and then he punched me again and knocked me down, and then they arrested me.
And I'm sure that's 100% true and isn't embellished or taken out of context in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure he was being completely gentle and was only blowing his little whistle. Just like that girl who was only driving home from dropping her kid off at school.
Disrupt
100%.
The local
Absolutely.
cafe.
Don't care. Don't be illegal in the country next time. All right?
I mean-
Literally don't care. Skill issue, fuck you.
You eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart.
Skill issue. You should not be in this country. Get out. I don't care. My daily routine was disrupted. My tax dollars are going to Somali scammers.
Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
W. Those daycares are a scam. They should figure it out. This is just giant skill issue. It's insane. Imagine if your city or town is invaded by thousands of federal agents. Well, I don't know, man. I'm worrying about my country getting invaded by thousands of illegal aliens, but you don't really seem to care about that. Now, this is one of the funniest things of all time. So Tim Waltz released this video on YouTube, okay? It's a 5-minute video where he released on YouTube calling for an insurrection, and I really don't know how else I could say this. So he made this video. He released it on YouTube, and about 10 minutes after this video went live on YouTube, he deleted it. So Tim Waltz is currently being indicted for
several
potentially
reasons.
getting impeached, but he decided to release this.
ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out.
If you can only hear this audio on your left ear but not on your right ear, that is how he released it. That's not an issue on my end.
Out where their neighbors of color live.
Yeah.
They're
So it's people going after your neighbors of color. Not illegal, your neighbors of color.
pulling over people indiscriminately.
Not indiscriminately.
See, he's making it sound, and he's doing that on purpose, to make it sound like he's doing it to anyone who's not white. This is not the case. This is not the case. They're going after people specifically, and then anyone who is with them, they are questioning and then identifying, and if they don't fight or resist and they show their identification as they should, then they let them the fuck go.
Specifically illegals or people, you know, obstructing justice.
Including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers.
Makes sense. You have an issue in your city. Figure this shit out.
And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools. They're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street.
I love how none of
They're only breaking car windows.
this is in context. They're dragging pregnant women down the street because these pregnant women decided to join riots against ICE agents.
Yeah, pregnant women are going and doing these things, and they're taking their kids. Not just the ones that live inside them.
Actual evil retard.
Just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans. kidnapping innocent people with no warning.
No one's getting kidnapped, and no one, not a single one. If you're illegal, they're going to take you and deport you. And if you're not illegal, then they're going to let you go. If you are blocking, obstructing justice, then you need to go to jail.
No due process. Let's be very, very clear.
Hold on, this bitch is saying some shit again.
Bottom-feeding morons surrounding him, and Elon.
By the way, this is also from the people who said, we're sorry, our bad, after they persecuted everybody who disagreed with them after COVID. Just by the way. Democrat activists Jennifer Wells and Jim Acosta say mass prosecutions of Trump and Republicans would be necessary for natural reconciliation when Democrats regain power, arguing that expanding the SCOTUS would be required to jail Trump. Yeah, you can't change government just to get back at people who disagreed with you or tried to go after you for laws you literally broke. Trump didn't change the government. He just used the powers of the government that he had to go after people who tried to go after him.
Due process. The due process is show me your papers.
This long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement.
It did not.
It's still about immigration.
Yeah,
enforcement.
100%. That's all it is.
It's a campaign of organized brutality.
Nope, it's not about organized.
The campaign of organized brutality is coming from the left. Namely, this fucking retard right here.
Brutality. Your people keep hitting ICE agents with cars.
Against the people of Minnesota.
Nope, it's not.
By our own federal
No,
government.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Last
not.
week, that campaign claimed the life of Renee Nicole Good.
Renee Nicole Good committed suicide by cop. All right,
Yeah.
She decided to ram her car into a cop like a retard and died.
It's sad. Okay, we can all admit that it's sad. It shouldn't have happened. But due to the indoctrination by fuckers like this, and then the public insanity that's happened both since Trump and since COVID, it keeps getting amped up, and nobody will back down. They keep asking for Trump to back down, and Trump has made concessions, and he's said things, and then people kept asking him to do the same thing, and then he stopped saying them.
Died because she's retarded.
We've all watched the video.
Yep.
We've all seen what happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, we did.
We saw the ICE agent get hit by the car and then suffer internal bleeding.
Instead of conducting an impartial investigation so we can hold accountable the officer responsible for Renee's death, the Trump administration is devoting the
Renee Good was responsible for her own death.
Yeah.
She decided to hit her cop with her car.
full power of the federal government to finding an excuse to attack the victim and her family.
The victim's already dead, so
And-
no one actually is attacking.
And her dad agrees with Trump, ironically, in a twist of fate. Let's see if I can find that while he's talking.
Actually. And the funny thing is, I didn't see a single right-wing guy celebrating her death. Even though I think that she is a retard, right, that did commit suicide by cop, and she is retarded and a militant lesbian. I'm not celebrating her death, and I'm really sad she died. And I have never, ever celebrated her death. I want to make this clear. Never have I celebrated her death. It's you guys that celebrate the murder of right-wing guys. You guys are all...
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Wow, Renee Good's former father-in-law. Oh, father-in-law. Wait, that's father-in-law. There was one where it was it was her father. Okay, this is father-in-law. Okay, everything I've seen says father, but it's
celebrating the
father-in-law.
murder of Charlie Kirk. You guys
I mean, everyone thinks that their daughter-in-law's a cunt. Okay, I'm sorry.
celebrate the assassination
That's not good enough for me. That's my bad.
attempts on Donald Trump. You guys constantly talk about killing ICE agents like they're Nazis. I'm not going to lose any sleep over this retard committing...
And he probably agrees with ICE for the same reason that Renee Good only has custody of one of her 3 children because she abused them. And she allowed this person to put cigarettes out on the one that she has left, from my understanding.
suicide by cop, but I'm not here happy she's dead.
Yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including the longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs.
Based. Of course they quit their jobs.
Good.
They failed because your state committed $19 billion of fraud.
Yeah,
so yeah,
good.
Of course they quit their job because they failed at what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Rather than go along with this assault on the United States Constitution.
That's not what
an
this is.
assault on the
No,
Constitution
it's
to
an
say we
assault
don't actually
on
like that you guys are fraudulent
your political
assholes.
careers.
But
That's
as
it.
bad as it's been, Donald Trump intends for it to get worse.
Oh my.
This week he went
He doesn't intend on to get worse. You're making it worse by militarizing your police force and your National Guard force to fight ICE in the street. and your people.
Online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming.
Good.
That's a direct threat against the people of this state.
No, it's only a direct threat against the criminals.
Who dared to vote against him 3 times.
Nope.
And who continue to stand up for...
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, they're part of the United States of America, and the United States of America elected him as president. So you might not like it, but you are anti-Constitution.
Freedom, with courage and empathy and profound grace.
Empathy is a scam.
You have one of
every
those
time
at
I hear a
most.
leftist say empathy, I want to kill myself. Because they have empathy for the wrong people. It's like, yeah, I abort my own children.
Oops,
yeah, I convince my kids to cut their penises off. Yeah, I support literally ramming cars into ICE agents, but I have empathy.
Wrong button. I meant to do that up here.
People are stepping up to help their neighbors who are being unjustly and unlawfully targeted.
All right, so you are directly telling the people of Minnesota to stand up against legal law enforcement to obstruct justice. This is a call for an insurrection.
They're distributing care packages and walking kids to school and
kids aren't getting kidnapped on the way to school.
Raising their voices in peaceful protest, even though doing so
the peaceful protest of smashing an ICE agent with your car
has made many of our fellow Minnesotans targets for violent retribution. Folks, I know it's scary, and I know it's absurd that we all have to be defending law and order, justice, and humanity. Well,
law and order would be standing down and letting ICE deport all the illegals. That would be law and order. You're not doing that. In my opinion, you are a domestic terrorist, Tim Waltz. Yep. In my opinion, you should go to jail for treason.
Also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation.
It's not an occupation.
It's crazy that we're doing this. He really thinks that the Minnesotans in Minnesota are like the Persians in Iran. Well, it's crazy that we're dealing with this.
You've done enough.
You've done enough. Also, I'm gay.
Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota.
All right.
4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors.
4 things.
First, Donald Trump wants this chaos.
Nope. Donald Trump wants to deport the illegals, which you are trying to stop him from doing, and he should absolutely try harder.
He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets.
Nope. There's zero evidence that Trump wants violence on the streets. Trump wants to deport the illegals.
We cannot give him what he wants. We can't
do the thing that legally we have to do under the American Constitution by letting the president go ahead and deport the illegals.
And we must protest loudly, urgently.
And now let me say it in the native tongue of the Minnesotans. That was me translating what he said.
He just edited himself. Real quick, Ed Krasenstein. Look, I don't know who Jake Lang is. Okay, watch Jake Lang is peacefully escorted away from the protest in Minneapolis by multiple anti-ICE protesters. He doesn't deserve to be a free man. He was there trying to agitate the crowd. This is a horrific human being who allegedly beat police officers with a baseball bat on January 6th, lied about their I'm going to guess lied about the election or there with an IR, maybe? Keep protesting peacefully, Minnesota. These violent Trump supporters. He wasn't. Look, if he was violent, show me the video. Show me the video. The only video that people are showing me of this Jake Lang person is that the video of him running for his life while being clearly severely beaten. I mean, this is horrible. And who knows? You could be completely right about this person. However, you don't have any video of it. All you have is him being chased and brutalized by other people. Again, he could be an agitator, but you don't go to jail for being annoying. Otherwise, most of the protesters in Minneapolis would be in jail. I'm just being real.
But also peacefully. Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail.
Yeah, you lost the election.
But you
Must
are.
suck to be you. Anyway.
You're angry. I'm angry. Angry's not a strong enough word, but we must remain peaceful. Second.
We must remain peaceful. Anyway, keep ramming your cars into ICE agents.
You are not powerless. You are not helpless.
They should be.
And you are certainly not alone.
Oh, hold on. Look,
I'm Jelly. Welcome to my...
Sorry, if you know me, you know I love martial arts. I don't take place in any of them because I'm a fat lump. But I love martial arts movies. I love the art of it. I love samurai, ninjas, the whole thing. I basically love Asian culture. And I've been wondering where Jet Li's been since I think the last movie I saw him in was the third Mummy movie, maybe? Oh, no, The Expendables. But he hasn't done anything since.
YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Jet Li. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
So you go subscribe to Jet
How
Li.
training my body for many years. Maybe you know, I was 8 years old learning martial arts, train the body. I spent 27 years to learn how to training my mind. Here, I want to share more how to train the mind. Why it's very important? Because now, I'm very peaceful. I hope you too. You know, a lot of people only want to share the shiny part, but I want to share both. I'm just like normal people when I was young. I'm struggling, I got a lot of pressure, I want to fight, I want to be successful. But what is the successful? We need more famous, more power, more things, but you fight for that. If you don't understand, at the end of the day, you're still fighting. I want to talk to you guys more story, how to train your martial arts. If you're interested, I can share how to make an action film. But in the future, how to helping people. That's wonderful because we're a global family, like in the earth. Retired, nothing to do, but I really want to use my life journey and the experiences to share with you, make your journey easier, happier, and healthier.
Thank you, Jet Li, and I'm happy. God, I saw the way he looks now, and I was just so afraid that he was going to tell us he's dying. I was so damn scared. I love Jet Li. He's one of my favorite martial artists, and I know he's probably one of everybody's just because he's Jet freaking Li. I mean, look at that guy. Look at him. He's great. But okay. All right, yeah, so go follow Jet Li. Apparently, he's going to be putting a lot more videos out, and I can't wait to see what comes of this. That's going to be freaking amazing. What a great random thing to pop up on my YouTube channel.
We are leering.
Not just resist.
Oh, all across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities to resist.
But to help people who are in danger.
Who's in danger? The only people in danger are the illegals. Sounds to me like you are literally calling for an entire network of insurrectionists to work together to obstruct law enforcement.
Thousands upon thousands of our fellow Minnesotans are going to be relying on mutual aid in the days and weeks to come, and they need our support.
Like, this is literally inciting insurrection. I don't see any other interpretation.
Tonight I want to share another way you can help.
Okay.
Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans.
Atrocities. Like, this is unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. Like, actually, I think Trump would be justified to send in Delta Force and throw him in a cell until his trial. I would fully support that, by the way, because I think this is direct incitement of violence.
Establish a record for posterity.
And there is no reason to think he'll stop inciting violence.
But to bank evidence for future prosecution. The third thing I want to say to you tonight is, we will not have to live like this forever. Accountability is coming at the voting booth and in court. We will reclaim our communities from Donald Trump. We will
reclaim our communities. Dog, you lost an election. Holy shit, grow up.
Establish a sense of safety for our neighbors. And we will bring an end to this moment of chaos, confusion, and trauma. We will find a way to move forward, and we'll do it together. And we'll not be alone. Every day, we are working with business leaders, faith leaders, legal experts, and elected officials
Which
from
faith?
across this country.
Is it all of
They've
them?
seen
I hope
what
it's all
Donald
of them.
Trump is trying to do to our state, and they know their states could be next. And that brings me
This is calling for nationwide insurrection.
to the fourth thing I
CNN's
want
got
to
a
say
new
tonight,
poll that says
Minnesota.
61%
How
of
incredibly
Americans-
proud I am of the way that you've risen to meet this unbearable moment. But I'm not at all surprised, because this is who we are. Minnesotans believe in the rule of law. And Minnesotans
believe in the rule of law.
Did they believe in the
Laws
rule
we
of
don't like.
Yeah.
and the dignity of all people. We're a place where there's room for everybody. No matter.
No, There quite literally is not room for everybody.
Who you are, or who you love, or where you came from. A place where we feed our kids. We take care of our neighbors.
You're
and we
supposed
look
to
out
feed
for
your
those in
kids.
the shadows of life.
A place where the fraud keeps happening.
Yeah.
We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty.
Get out of here.
What the fuck ever, dude.
Of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight,
And a fraud.
We will use your stolen tax dollars to fund our leering centers.
For you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us. Thank you, protect each other, and may God bless the people of Minnesota.
Yeah, so he released this video onto YouTube, and then he deleted it. It's pretty awesome, actually, that this is a real person. So Donald Trump, just 47 minutes ago, made this tweet, all right? 47 minutes ago, he made this tweet. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking our patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act.
Do it.
Please, God, let it happen, please. Which many presidents have done before me and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in this once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Fuck yeah, baby. It's actually happening. Trump is going ahead and actually doing the things. He's doing the things. Oh my God. So anyway,
And at this point, even I won't blame him.
This is moving along. We are moving towards, in my opinion, hopefully justice. Now, and I have a math equation that I would like to share with all of you guys.
Oh,
'Cause a lot
God.
of people are unaware of this. So I personally believe that Donald
These are
Trump,
always
after
pretty
capturing
classic.
Maduro, he has absolutely changed my perspective on things. I fully support Donald Trump needs to capture one El Presidente per
One
month.
El
We need
Presidente.
one El Presidente captured every single month. Now, I have a metric for this. Supreme Leader counts for an El Presidente. Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, also counts for an El Presidente. Senators, governors, mayors, they each count for a half an El Presidente. So, to be clear, that is what I want. I want one El Presidente per month. Okay? That is the metric that I want. January.
And look, shit like this. Stephen Lawton, whoever the hell this fucker is, said 71% of Americans can't locate the Pacific Ocean on a map. A lot of people say, I'm pacifically asking for this. 33% don't believe in evolution. Okay. 26% of people believe the sun revolves around the earth. Okay. 40% of people don't know what Auschwitz was. I doubt that one's true. 33% can't name any branch of government. 54% read below a 6th grade level, but by all means, eliminate the Department of Education. Okay, so where do those numbers come from? Does it come from the last? Hold on. How long was the Department of Education active in America?
The U.S. Department of Education, as a formal cabinet-level agency, has been active since May 4th, 1980. However,
okay.
the focus on...
So for 45 years, the Department of Education was a thing for the last 46 years. And after all that, all this stuff is still true. What's your argument? I'm saying, Mr. Lawton's, honestly, how bad can it get?
It's already covered. It's already covered. But if you want to get a head start on February, we could take a half a point immediately by capturing.
I say
this
we
month,
get rid of it,
okay? Or a Supreme
wait
Leader
10
who
years,
would get ahead of
do
the
another
game,
survey,
be
see what
ahead.
happens.
But the El Presidente exchange is growing in real time. Okay, you could honestly, if it's a slow month and there are no El Presidentes to capture, you could go to the UK and you could take Keir Starmer. Okay, that would also count for an El Presidente. Ayatollahs count as an El Presidente. That is my metric. Okay, I want them frozen in carbonite in the halls of the White House, okay? I want Trump to be giving press conferences to reporters in front of a wall of El Presidentes sitting there.
A wall
as
of
his
El
great
Presidentes.
collection,
Of
okay?
El Presidentes.
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be incredible. Greenland, by the way, taking another country, that counts for 2 El Presidentes, okay? All right, so that's the metric. Governors, mayors, they count for half an El Presidente. El Presidentes, like leader of Mexico, all right, that's an El Presidente. Former presidents, that's an El Presidente. Extreme supreme leaders, of like the Ayatollah, that counts as an El Presidente. Full countries, that's 2 El Presidentes. So this is the metric. We need 12 El Presidentes this year, and 2026 will be remembered as incredible. Anyway, that was my little El Presidente rant. But it's very important for you all to know exactly what I feel about this, because obviously we need as many El Presidentes as we possibly can. This is very important and pivotal for United States security and more.
Real quick, this retard says, okay, the MCU source says the most hated Marvel characters. Let me just say this. Nobody hates Miles Morales. Well, I mean, some people do. We don't care what they think. Overall, Miles Morales is a good character. And almost unanimously, everyone who has seen the Spider-Verse movies are very pissed off that the third one hasn't come out yet, okay? They love it, the first one especially. The second one, they did love until they realized it was only half of a movie. Nobody hates Sam Wilson. They don't particularly like that he's Captain America without the super soldier serum. I'm saying. I agree. No one likes Carol Danvers. I liked her as Miss Marvel. I really wish that Rogue would jump in and suck the life force out of her to get her full powers. Nobody likes Riri Williams. Nobody does. She's from a failed comic, okay, during a failed era of Marvel. Marvel Now, okay. Where they got rid of the OGs and filled them in with boring, perfect counterparts who have no problems, who have no personality quirks, and then never struggle at all. Like Totally Awesome Hulk. Totally Awesome Hulk should be right here. Was it Amadeus Cho? One of the worst Marvel characters ever, okay? Perfectly fine, perfectly full strength of the full Hulk, not She-Hulk level, but full Hulk. Doesn't have the struggle between the man and the beast. What the fuck were you even thinking? Okay. Anyway, that aside.
Morale in general. Anyway, articles of impeachment have been officially filed against Governor Timothy Walz in the Minnesota House. So, thank you for your attention to this matter. We need all the El Presidentes. Does Clinton count? He was a former president. He counts as an El Presidente. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. So, anyway, bro's getting impeached. He's probably going to jail for all sorts of shit. Fraud, garbage, whatever. Now, this is Zohran Mamdani's wife. All right, the first woman in American history who draws...
Oh, my God. Real quick. Okay, Zohran Mamdani's wife is awful. But this. New audio, Caroline Leavitt just threatened CBS over Trump's interview. Air it in full or we'll sue your ass off. The White House is now openly trying to bully people into compliance. This isn't transparency. This is the stupidest argument ever. They said air it in full. That's transparency. What are we even talking about? Look, I don't like when people bully people. I don't like when the government bullies reporters, and I don't like when reporters suck the phalli of their political party, okay? I don't like any of those things. This is not that. Okay, let's listen. Okay. This isn't an argument. This is a great retardation. Okay, he's very stupid, very very stupid. This is. I just don't go back the nuts.
Shitty cartoons of herself getting abused by police while having a 24/7 police detail.
Which she's probably never been. Okay, this is them LARPing. She's LARPing.
And the song that she used in her Instagram
this is some
story,
upper class rich bitch.
But it is by a Syrian terrorist who promised to kill all the Christians and Owlites in Syria. So here she is celebrating the massacre of Christians and Owlites in Syria, showing images of her being abused by the police while she has a 24/7 police detail. Yep, that's the left. Fighting against abuse every single day. You love to see it. Now, there's one leftist that's freaking out. Now, there's a leftist by the name of John Fetterman. He had a brain tumor, which means he is the least retarded leftist.
Border, and it was skyrocketing, and it's like, that's unsustainable. When you reach almost 300,000 people, that's unsustainable, and we need to You know, as a Democrat, it shouldn't be unreasonable to want to secure our border and do it in that way. And now let's also talk about ICE. Now, absolutely, again, what happened in Minneapolis was absolutely tragic. And then now, if you think, now this is from the Washington Post. You know, this is the latest statistics. These are people that ICE now are, no, it's like now 67% have criminal charges, pending ones, or that. So that's more than 2/3, you know, the people now. Now, there are some people that aren't involved.
I'm sorry, I can't listen to him talk. It's awful.
In your show, millions of people, and there wasn't having the same kind of
outrage. It's
Okay.
almost like the outrage.
Sorry,
is
it's hard to
fake,
listen to
and
him
none of
talk.
it is
He's
real, and it's all just what the media is manipulating the retards into being upset about.
I agree with a lot of the
Isn't
stuff that he
incredible?
tweets, but listening to him talk is
Palestine,
painful.
they care about Iran.
It's the same
all
thing with
purely, utterly,
RFK Jr.
and completely bought and controlled by the retard propagandists. All right, now we all know who the retard propagandists are, so we're not going to need to get involved in that specifically today. But who has the most to gain by infinite importations and not deporting the imports? Think about it. Who has the most to gain by infinite retards joining our country? I'm not going to get involved in that. I leave that to you. We'll discuss that in another video. But anyway, we'll figure that out. So anyway, this is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is actually finally going after arresting idiots. And it's honestly amazing. It's honestly incredible. It's truly, truly awesome watching this happen. So they recently arrested a leaker. Someone that leaked Donald Trump's plans. And they actually got him and they threw him in jail.
Good.
Another piece of information that I think is very important is the leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. We had a very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're hot on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail, and will probably be in jail for a long time.
That's right. That's what we call treason.
So we'll let you know. We'll keep you apprised as to what's going to happen with that. And I want to thank all of the...
So I love this, by the way. I love the fact that we're finally actually arresting and going after people that are so... But what do you mean? I'm just a guy doing my job. Get the fuck out of here. Pam Bondi made a tweet. This past week, at the request of the Department of War, the Department of Justice, the FBI, executed a search warrant at the home of a Washington Post journalist who was obtaining and reporting classified and illegal information from a Pentagon contractor. The leaker is currently behind bars. Huge W. We take those. Fuck those guys. Jail forever. That's what we call FAFO. You fucked around. You found out. You tried to tattle. You tried to tattle on Maduro. It's like, no, actually, I think that we should support dictators in Venezuela. Yeah, fuck you. Now, in case you're unaware, 800,000 voters were found to be improperly registered to vote in Oregon, meaning gigantic election fraud is a fact now. Now, a lot of people scream and yell, no, how could you say this? Now, obviously, these 800,000 votes all voted for Democrat, purely by coincidence. It could have been either way, but that's where we're at. That's how it was. Look, I'm not saying the 2020 election was stolen, okay? Because I don't know. I don't know if all the fraud actually flipped the election. What I do know is that there was a ton of fraud. And every time this was fought in the Supreme Court and in different courts, it was done through politicized people. You know, law.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just being upfront here. I don't know. I don't actually know for a fact. One, I do know that there was massive fraud. And every single leftist that's being like, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, there's no fraud, is literally a lie. They're literally lying. And I want to see people going to jail for treason for this shit, because this literally stole the country. Now, let me show you how little you hate the media.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
So
I
this
saw
was
this.
talking about U.S. inflation under Biden. U.S. inflation is still high, but it's falling. Last month's consumer price index measured 6%, down from January 6.4%. Congratulations, Biden. It's 0.4% down from 6.4 to 6.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what CNN said about Donald Trump. U.S. inflation remained at 2.7% in December, underscoring persistent cost of living challenges. You don't hate the media enough, man. You don't hate them enough.
It's less than half of what it
Trump
was.
takes it down from 6 to 2.7, and they're like, oh, cost of living is getting worse. It keeps inflating. Then under Biden, it's like, everything is getting so much better. Everything's good. I know you can't afford a house, but everything's good. Everything's better, actually. Thanks, media. We love you, too. Now, here's some pretty interesting info from ICE. ICE arrested an Afghan immigrant, many such cases, Waleed Allah Mohammed, police beep on him, 39, convicted of stabbing his sister for being a bad Muslim girl. He was ordered to be deported in 2012, but of course he remained in the U.S.
That's a loser.
Liberal women are currently dying to protect these people. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Woke liberal women are literally killing themselves to protect these people. This person needs to be deported to hell if you ask me. But then again, no one asked me, so that's why I will not be stating my opinion. But yeah, so Wahid Allah Mohammed from Afghanistan turned out to not be a super nice guy. Pretty crazy how this happened. Maybe it's because we imported tons of people from Afghanistan without doing any vetting under Biden. Maybe that had something to do with it. Now, this is crazy. Many Minneapolis police officers are quitting from the police force and going for ICE instead. Don't forget that we are the majority.
That's kind of hilarious.
Right? It might not seem that way with the retards screaming in the streets, but never forget we're the majority. 60 to 70 Minneapolis police officers applied for ICE. Everyone's so tired of this shit. Bored liberal
Sorry.
ICE
Yeah.
agents.
That's perfect right there.
Why they find out after fucking around. So this is an instance that happened yesterday of an illegal immigrant trying to literally run over an ICE agent.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Come out of the car! Come out of the car! Open the window.
All right, so this is an illegal alien in the car.
Yo, I've seen the proceedings. He's good to go. Get my plate.
All right, so by the way, they have every possible legal right to break the window and pull the guy out. This is perfectly legal.
Lower the window.
Get behind you, watch out! So this is literally trying to run over an ICE agent. Holy! There's no other explanation. Watch out in front of you! Watch out in front! Literally trying to do that.
Cut it off! Cut it off! Now! Cut it off! Turn off the car!
My big question on this is, why isn't the ICE agent in the back? Why did they just block it? Why didn't they just pull right up on it? You know, these are the questions.
It's another case of a mostly peaceful lesbian.
Come out of the car! Come out! Now!
Tries to run, but they immediately put him down.
All right, here with reaction, ICE Director Todd Lyons. Todd, I mean, if that doesn't educate the public...
No, what do you mean? He was mostly peaceful. He was mostly peaceful.
About these ramming
That's what Tim Waltz said. Tim Waltz said that they were all peaceful.
incidents, I don't know what else will, on top of what happened. You know, previously, we now have 3 in recent days. Very dangerous now.
This is aside from, like, regular assault. This, in my opinion, is attempted murder, by the way. All right? This is not assault. There were 3 attempted murders in the last 2 days, okay? Not assault. Okay, let's put a line in the sand. Mostly peaceful attempted murder.
A lot of this danger to the rhetoric of people like Tim Walz, who compares ICE to Gestapo?
Yeah, Sean, unfortunately, when we hear elected officials calling upon individuals to impede or obstruct, ICE law enforcement operations nationwide, you're going to see incidents like this.
Yep.
And that was a video you're probably not going to see.
I love how they tried to get Trump in jail for inciting insurrection by saying, let's be peaceful. All right, let's be peaceful. And they banned him from social media and stuff. And here you have Tim Waltz directly calling for this shit all the time. Literally all the time. And it's insane. It's complete craziness. Like actual calls for insurrections.
On mainstream media, right, that actually shows exactly what's happening. You saw the officers and agents attempting to apprehend a criminally illegal alien, and there they are using their weapon, using the car as a weapon. The lead vehicle, the ICE vehicle, the gray one that was struck, that officer had to go to the hospital with neck
Car crashes are very dangerous, actually.
injuries.
What?
And every day, Sean, this is what the men and women of ICE are facing. It's constant impediments, constant attacks like this.
I have a speech impediment.
It's not safe for my folks. It's not safe for the public. It really needs to stop.
What do you make of these groups that have instructions on how to confront and basically fight with ICE agents? They call
Domestic
it a micro
terrorists?
intifada, and I can go into all the details of it. I'm sure you're closely aware of it. I mean, but we're talking about a strategy laid out by groups of people to make your jobs harder and obstruct justice.
Actual insurrectionists.
Should those people be arrested?
100%, Sean. Any law enforcement officer will tell you, it's a constitutional right, go out there and protest. But when you have organized criminal gangs, which these are, that are organizing these groups to, again, impede or obstruct law enforcement operations, lawful law enforcement agents, enacting the laws that Congress has written, that's a criminal act. And I will tell you that Homeland Security investigations, my folks, the FBI, we're investigating these, and people are going to be held accountable because you can't organize groups to go out and impede law enforcement. It's a criminal act. And
the saddest thing is, this might be the gayest insurrection of all time.
My God.
This might be the most
That's the sad
homosexual
part.
insurrection I've ever seen. Like, you see what's going on in Iran, and, the government just actually mowing people down, 20,000 people killed in, 2 days. Here, our insurrection is a bunch of retards with whistles and just trying to kill people and run them over with cars.
we have to
All
act
right, I
swiftly
see his point.
to cause this from spreading.
Do you have a response to Philadelphia's DA threatening to prosecute ICE agents, which, by the way, is not constitutional, but putting that aside, do you have a response for that DA?
You know, Sean, what I'll say is the men and women of ICE, the men and women of EO, the men and women of HSI, they're not.
And I got to say, I'm not at all surprised that they're looking to prosecute individual ICE agents unless someone is blatantly going against their policies and their codes of conduct. But then again, this is exactly what happened to that one guy who got thrown under the bus by the Minneapolis Police Department for following their exact code of conduct. Not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying he got thrown under the bus by the people that trained him.
Committing any crimes. So he doesn't have to worry about arresting any of my folks because what we're doing is we're enforcing the law. We are out there every day making this nation and his city safe again. So he shouldn't worry about the men and women of ICE. What he should worry about is the sanctuary policies that have these criminal aliens go back to his neighborhoods and commit heinous crimes. Like
unbelievable. Actual retard war. The homosexual insurrection is here. So ICE just shot somebody.
I wouldn't have phrased it quite like that.
That are unaware. And this is the chaos that happens after ICE shot somebody.
Even back in June, this same agent had been drugged behind a car for around 50 yards.
Again, crazy that our agents need to do this.
Inexcusable. That definitely goes into the factoring decision. And I can tell you that being an agent, I have said this on air many times. I lost my best friend in the line of duty. She did not have the chance to defend her life. No agent should have to take the risk of not going home alive because there are individuals who want to cause them harm. That is not the expectation of any federal agent or any law enforcement officer. And they are so accustomed, particularly in Minneapolis, we saw what happened post-George Floyd, that they think, that law enforcement has no rights. That is not the case. They abide by the law.
Honestly, this is purely done because of leftoid indoctrination.
Yeah.
The left indoctrination that America is bad, and therefore the American law enforcement is bad, because the American law is bad. So therefore the police are bad, and they don't have rights. Look at what we did during George Floyd. We were able to burn shit down without punishment. We were able to beat up police officers without punishment. We were able to do all of that sort of shit without punishment. It was amazing. So we're literally indoctrinating a culture of retards that thinks this is acceptable.
Law enforcement only pulls out their weapon when they absolutely have to, Sean, because they know that they will undergo major scrutiny in the aftermath, even if it is a clean shoot. No officer or agent wants to ever have to take somebody's life, but at the same time, they have
some
the
do,
right
but they're weird.
to go home alive as well.
100%. Every ICE agent has the right to live. This is the craziest thing in the world. And we're literally dealing with complete and utter retards. All right, so here's the new retard of the day. A man has been shot by an ICE federal agent in Minneapolis. How did that happen?
PM on the East Coast, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. We start tonight with a Fox News alert just breaking moments ago. Apparently another ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis. We're working on getting more details. We will get you a full report in this hour. All right, it's 9.
All right, that's pretty crazy. I wonder what happened. I wonder if it was mostly peaceful. I wonder if it was mostly peaceful and polite. I wonder if it was just another ICE agent being ICE and shooting people viciously.
Let's go back to Bill Maloogian.
So this is actually the actual footage of the ICE agent.
By the way, he just got
shooting.
a statement from ICE. I have a copy of it myself now, Bill. What can you update us with?
Here's the real
gave specifics. I'm looking at it right now as we speak. I'll let you report on it.
Yeah, Sean, I just got this literally 45 seconds ago. I'm just going to read it to you live. DHS says at 6:50 p.m. Central Time tonight, quote, federal law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted traffic stop in Minneapolis of an illegal alien from Venezuela who was released into the country by Joe Biden in 2022. In an attempt to evade arrest, the subject fled the scene in his vehicle and crashed into a parked car. The subject then
they do jump out in front of you.
The law enforcement officer caught up to the subject on foot and attempted to apprehend him when the subject began to resist and violently assault the officer. While the subject and law enforcement were in a struggle on the ground, 2 subjects came out of a nearby apartment and also attacked the law enforcement officer with a snow shovel and broom handle.
Aha. So you had a case of a completely lawful arrest.
When I heard it last time, I thought it was
decided,
or.
To jump in a car, drive away, crash into somebody, get pulled out of the car. In the middle of getting arrested, the guy pulled up a shovel and smashed the ICE agent in the head with the shovel, and then the ICE agent shot him.
As the officer was being ambushed and attacked by the 2 individuals, the original subject got loose and began striking the officer with a shovel or broomstick. Fearing for his life and safety as he was being ambushed by 3 individuals, the officer fired defensive shots to defend his life.
This is what we call absolutely based. Absolutely fucking based.
Subject was hit in the leg. All three subjects ran back into the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. The attacked officer...
Oh, you didn't like that the ICE agent is shooting at you? Well, all you have to do is not try to kill them next time, I guess. Yeah, I guess all you have to do is not try to kill them.
And subject are both in the hospital. Both attackers are in custody. This is another attack. This attack on another brave member of law enforcement took place while Minnesota's top leaders, Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, are actively encouraging an organized resistance to ICE and federal law enforcement officers. Their hateful rhetoric and resistance against men and women who are simply trying to do their jobs must end. So a very lengthy statement there, Sean, but it sounds a whole lot more complicated than what we initially had, that this was one person involved with a shovel. It sounds like ICE was going after a Venezuelan illegal alien who had been caught and released at the border by the Biden administration in 2022. That person crashed into a parked car, got out and fled. ICE was chasing him down, and then while they were wrestling on the ground, two people came out of a nearby apartment and then started attacking the ICE officer with shovels. And during that ambush attack...
And people are asking on X what the problem with this is. It's because that's what this is for. They're just going to randomly start attacking ICE agents and other kinds of police that are chasing after these people. This is not what we want. I promise you, this is not what we want. Minneapolis is falling.
That is when the officer pulled out his weapon, fired, and hit one of the suspects, who again is stable. So it sounds
shot him
like
in the leg.
suspects
Not
are in
dead.
custody,
Shot him in the leg.
And this is being described to Fox News from DHS as yet another attack
Yay.
on ICE officers in Minneapolis. Sean.
Yeah, so that's another obvious attempted murder of ICE agents where he had to defend himself. Obviously, this is causing all sorts of chaos because, oh my god, an ICE agent shooting somebody. Fuck yeah, he shot somebody. Hell yeah, he shot somebody. If it was me, I would have double tapped that motherfucker. You act absolutely to the best of your ability to protect your own life. Okay? And I am so tired of this. Now, I know that this is going to be controversial.
I didn't even
not
record
everyone's
it.
gonna
I'm a
agree.
dipshit.
I'm happy the guy's alive. I'm happy he's alive.
Yeah.
I don't like when people die. However, in self-defense, you fucking kill the guy. If he threatens your life, you kill him first. With all due respect, it's A, according to the law, and B, it's according to the Bible. It's moral, it's legal, it's ethical. You fucking kill them if they're trying to kill you. Sorry, get out of here. Unbelievable that we need to live like this. So this is actual footage. They did a recreation of the footage. So this is them describing what happened. But I actually have recreation made of the footage of the person attacking an ICE agent with a shovel. So that's the actual footage of the Venezuelan migrant attacking an ICE agent with a shovel and then getting shot. That's
the scene from Indiana Jones Temple of
in case
Doom.
you're unaware. So now that I showed you that, I thought it was pretty important. It was ethnically accurate as well, obviously. I tried to make the actors
kind
as
of.
properly as possible. So this is the investigations don't stop, the scams don't end.
So we're outside 477 Peachtree Street Northwest. Fabian, what is this place?
So this is apparently a place where there are almost 100 people registered to vote, but it closed down 10 years ago.
Wow. Infinite voter fraud too. Interesting how this keeps happening. And that's literally what it is. So this was an ICE agent's car that was attacked and destroyed, obviously, in a case of domestic terrorism, because everyone's scared to call it domestic terrorism, but it's obviously domestic terrorism. As you can see, they vandalized the car. They also stole his papers. Apparently, they stole weapons. And as you can see, the graffiti on the car says, "Fuck ICE," but also, only good ICE agent is a dead ICE agent. Now, if that's not a threat of violence, I don't know what is. So this is another classic example of the mostly peaceful protesters riled up by people like Jacob Frey and Tim Waltz and all these retards. And I absolutely think this is a domestic terror threat. This is an insurrection against the government, and it needs to be treated that way. It absolutely does. Leftists are now doxing the FBI and ICE agents on a live stream from documents they pulled from the looted ICE vehicle. This is
crazy.
Absolutely terrorism. I don't know how you could possibly interpret it in any other way. It's unbelievable that we need to deal with this with the leftists running defense for these guys. It's insane. Now, for those of you that are unaware, 70% of ICE arrestees in 2025 had criminal histories in the U.S., right? That's aside from people breaking through the border. This is aside from people invading, all right? This is not just invaders, but this is including people that were here the whole time. That literally had criminal histories, 70% of them. That means judges keep letting them out of jails again and again and again. That's what this means. This means that these people keep getting arrested, then the judges let them out again and again because they're woke and retarded.
Again and again and again and again and again.
Look at me now. We literally don't need to live this way. And these people convince themselves they're the good guys every single time.
That's the part that's crazy.
When we support the radical jihadi terrorists, we're the bad guys? That's crazy. During riots in Minneapolis, protesters forced open a weapons locker in a federal vehicle, stealing a rifle and ammunition before fleeing in a black Ford Taurus. These are the anti-gun people, by the way. With Minnesota license plate SMV596, that's in the news. Video footage captures the thief's face. It's a man with facial tattoos, Gateway Vehicles details, which were forwarded to the FBI for investigation. Some reports indicate additional theft of sensitive documents, and that's complete and utter insanity. Complete insanity that we need to live like that.
They gonna be on your ass.
Like, this is obviously terrorism.
Your ass is a wiggle.
You have people celebrating terrorism. You have people committing terrorism. It's pretty classic stuff. Now, in case you were unaware, I just thought I'd end with some positive news. 2 million native-born jobs were increased in this year because we deported illegals. Opioid deaths plummeting in half because we closed the border. Nearly 2 million self-deportations happened because they were scared of getting deported, so they left themselves. First net negative migration in 50 years. So,
that's cool.
Donald Trump, for all of his faults, he's not going hard enough. Maybe he's not getting drones to drone strike libtards or anything. Right? Maybe he's not doing that. All right? Not saying that he should. But maybe he's not doing that yet. But A, he is pondering about calling the Insurrection Act. And B, deportations fucking work. That's right. We'll get more jobs. The housing market goes down. Opioid deaths plummet. And honestly, God bless America. And I am very much looking forward to how much better things are going to get from here. Because we need to take our country back. Quite literally, our country was raped, pillaged.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's not far off. I know it's been a long one today. I haven't done a weekend show. I need to do them at least one a weekend instead of once every 2 or 3 weeks. And I need to get back on the gaming bits. But, guys, just think about things. We're very divided these days, and it just really seems like it's getting worse. And then shit like this will come out. You'll have... Oh, what emails?
Anti-ICE protests still raging in Minneapolis and showing no signs of letting up. And an internal Friday email sent to city employees confirming the city is working with, quote, partners and community groups to track ICE activity and share information. This as the DOJ opens an investigation into Governor Walz and Mayor Fry.
See, and they want this to happen. They want to put people in harm's way so that these altercations with ICE can occur. They don't care about you. You're cannon fodder to them. They want these illegals here so that we can be so that they can segregate them, so that we can be separate, so that the people in that town can just have a great disdain growing for these people. And it's not a lot of their faults. A lot of them are just pawns, the same way that a lot of these people who are being thrown in front of ICE are just pawns. It's not right. But it's the way it is, but it doesn't have to be. And all that to say, just think about things, okay? Don't let your anger, don't let the fact that, people in your family treated you bad, people in your own community treated you bad. Look at the world as a whole. People on the right are actually wanting to have conversations with people. They don't want submission. At least they didn't until all this shit started. I don't want it to get any worse. We're divided enough. Just talk to people, try to get stuff figured out, and we'll see if we can find somewhere in the middle like we used to, like we did in the 90s. But, as always, I've been Alpha Animus. This is the Associated Guess, and we'll see you all next time in the morning.